The Munich Major is over, and it's time to talk about all that we witnessed. We got to see the action, front and center. Unfortunately, Mint had to watch it via co-stream, but that was there. I was there. Don't look so upset. You'll get them next time. And I mean, hey, you get to co-stream from the comfort of your own home, so that's kind of nice, right?
That was a big plus. I'm not gonna lie. I've been to so many, not to brag, I've been to so many tournaments my entire 10-year career. It was kind of nice not traveling for once, but maybe in the future.
I did see that you put out a tweet offering your services to join an organization, so who knows? Maybe we'll see you at an event not so far away. And frankly, you're a big and popular guy. You need to put the B in Ubisoft's ear and get you flown out to these events.
I didn't say it. Maybe I'm kind of hoping me and the Dream Team. You know, not to root on Cloud9's failure, but I like having Dream to co-stream with. That's been a ton of fun. So
it is a comfy co-stream. I actually got to join Fett very briefly for a co-stream that he did at the event. So we'll get into all of this in some time. The rundown for today, if you're curious about the topics that we're discussing, of course, the big one is going to be the Munich Major. We're going to be talking about our experiences there, where Mint will pretty much say nothing, but Fett and I are going to talk all about Germany and Bavaria and all the beautiful things that come with that part of the world. We're going to discuss the results and, of course, the winners of M80, who just might be on the show next week, but don't snitch. After that, we're going to turn our focus towards Save Siege. It's everywhere. It was at the Munich Major. They talked about it in interviews, and a whole bunch of content creators published a note of all the things that they think would save Siege. And then we're going to tie that into the final topic, which is the newest operation coming to Rainbow Six Siege X, which is called Operation Tenfold Pursuit. A very familiar and beloved operator has got a new gadget. There are some changes to existing operators and some big buffs for some hard breachers that have got people talking, plus a rework of a map that came out many, many moons ago that looks pretty good. Welcome to 6 on 6. I'm INTERRO. I'm joined, as always now, by Fett and Mint. And first things first, you know what? I want to give the floor to Fett, because Fett, coming out of this weekend, the one thing that I'm sure almost everybody saw was how emotional your response was to that M80 team winning. You were an unabashed M80 stan. Your predictions, your pick'ems, they all had M80 at the top. That's the former Beast Coast roster with whom you won a major. And I know how emotional a moment it was. So allow me to step back, and I just want to hear your immediate thoughts about M80 winning.
I mean, I'm just beyond happy for them. I think it's just you see all the shit that they go through. And I'm sure Mint can attest to it, especially after literally coaching them unwanted orgless at SI, not getting paid despite being a major winning core. It's the amount of shit they went through and the whole narrative after, Manchester. So for people who don't know, that was a team I built to win a major. We won within a stage. And then after the fact, I had to leave. And even with me, we had one last qualifier before I left. We bombed out of that one. They bombed out of the next stage with a new coach. Then M80 bought half of the team and tore it apart. So then for SI, literally 3/5 of the team had to compete without pay at SI. Then after that, they got fused back together. Then they bombed out of quals again, or for AWC, right? And then they finally made this event. So it was more so the culmination of all that struggle. I knew in my heart they had it no matter what. Mint knows in his heart they have it no matter what. But people are always going to say, oh, they needed Fed. Oh, Manchester was a fluke. Oh, they needed this guy and that guy. And I just really wanted them to shut the world up. So that was that's the reason why it was emotional for me. Is they're shutting the world up. They're showing them firsthand that they had it since the start. I didn't do shit, bro. I picked 3 players. I got outvoted on the last 2 players. That's the most I did, right? So they never needed me. They never needed anyone. I made a tweet about it. It never was a fluke. They've always been great because they've been hardworking. And even if they lost the major, they would have been the greatest in my heart because I know how hard they work and how much they bleed for this shit. So that's, for me, that was the pinnacle. And it made me very, very happy that they were able to show the world that not a fluke. They're just great.
Did you feel like at any point there was pressure on you? You very quickly become one of the largest content creators in this entire space. Your post streams get thousands of viewers. You do well across all mediums. And there was a pretty big spotlight on you for how much you loved M80. And of course, everybody saw that tweet of you crying. Everybody saw that the tweets and the videos of you erupting with just tons of emotion. Did you feel like at any point in time that there was like almost a weight on your shoulders because of M80, even though you weren't technically involved with them?
No, I just wanted to see him win. Like that was it. Like I just really wanted to see him win. And then I feel like the only like pressure came when it's like I cried and then people were like, yo, this guy Fett loves making it about himself. And I was like, yo, my fault for crying, dog. But then like, okay, well then the next time I tried not to cry. So then when they won, I didn't cry. And then I really tried my hardest. And then they lifted the trophy. And then I got flashbacks. And then obviously I cried. And then I walked off camera. I walked off stream because I listened to your criticism. And I was like, okay, you're right. You're right. I'm an asshole. Stop stealing spotlight. It's their moment. I walked off stream. And then another camera followed me off stream, man. This guy's in my fucking face, just like, yeah, this is a great Twitter moment. I'm like, motherfucker. So then it gets tweeted again, and then the same guy responds like, wow, this guy loves making it about himself. I'm like, oh no, man, no. So I mean, that was really it. I just didn't. I wanted them like to have their moment, because for me, it was literally about like not needing me. So like, I don't know. It kind of like didn't make sense to me that like I would be like, yeah. Look at me, but yeah.
And obviously, Mint, your connection with them through Unwanted, but the fact that you've teamed with Hot and Cold for so long, right? And we saw your incredibly loving tweet to him after the match as well. I obviously didn't get to see your reaction because we were in the venue, and when the team is lifting the trophy, I don't have co-streams up on my phone to see how they're handling it. So for those that didn't tune in to your stream, what was it like when you saw M80 finally conquer Falcons in that fourth map?
Yeah. So, I mean, first off, I mean, to Fett too, like, there's nothing wrong for me, at least. There's nothing wrong with like caring about people. Like we both have coached a lot of these players. Obviously, more inside the game, also outside of the game stuff. We're like friends with them as well. So like when I watched, well, actually, I didn't really watch you guys win Manchester. I'll be honest. I was on that DZ team, and we lost to BDS, and I was a kind of a sad boy in my room. I don't even think I wanted to watch, right? I couldn't stomach, even though Matt, Hot and Cold, is my best, like literally my best friend in Siege. I've known him since before year one, season one. I found him on a Reddit, a looking for players Reddit, and that's how we formed. I found him and Pojo, man. Which shout out Poj, love that guy. But anyway, so I've known him for over 10 years. We both still live in Vegas, hang out all the time, and golf and stuff like that. So I actually never seen him lift that first trophy besides pictures, because I was such a competitor, and it's like it's like he's my little brother in a sense, right? Like I don't want to see him be better than me. It was kind of like one of those. I was like, okay, of course I wished him, like after I see him in the hotel lobby, like, I was very happy for him, gave him a hug and everything like that. But now like me as a viewer, I can step back and I'm watching him, and him become, in my eyes, the best IGL in the game at the current moment, right? The two-time major winner, which 0.1% of pros could even say that. I don't even know, 0.1, right? Like people do not win
0, 0, like 0,
right?
0, like 0, 1, bro. Like
yeah, like you win one, people call it a fluke. Now he has two under his belt, and it's just like, yeah, just watching him like make this team, them all come back together. It was emotional. I didn't even know what to say on my stream a little bit. I had to kind of like back away and like look down. Like I couldn't believe it for the first time. I actually got to see him lift that trophy, and I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see this core lift an SI. And I know that's coming across extremely biased, but I know before Matt is done, that guy is going to lift a hammer. Yeah, and I can't wait to watch that.
Am I incorrect with my numbers here? But Houghton, Diffuser, Gunner, and Gavin join a very, very tiny group of people who've won more than one major event. If you include SI as S-tier events, the only people in North America that have won more is Troy. Is that not correct?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, Troy won the 3 S tier events that Troy has won. He's won 2 6 invitationals, one with Continuum, and then one with Space Station, and he won a major with DZ. TSM obviously won a 6 invitational, but that was the only thing that they won at an S tier event level. And now obviously this Beast Coast and M80 team, which effectively is the same team. I understand that in terms of like lineage, Beast Coast is technically Cloud9 now because Beast Coast merged with Cloud9. Now Cloud9 is technically that same squad. So M80 is not actually Beast Coast, even if 4 of the 5 players on the team were on it. That technically is not how the way it works. But am I missing one?
I think technically speaking, it still counts because M88 Beast Coast. It's a remember the merger. The org bought the entire.
Did
other
M80 buy
org.
Beast Coast? It
Yes,
wasn't
and that's
Cloud9.
how
Am I wrong? Okay.
No. So yes. So M80 bought Beast Coast. That's how they got Gunner and Diffuser. So technically,
you were correct.
By Pac-Man laws, it is.
Okay, so the lineage is actually there. I remember Beast Coast got bought. I thought it was Cloud9. That is chat. I was wrong, and you're welcome in our first call to action to make fun of me in the chat. Because hey, our first call to action came at like an hour and 45 minutes in the previous episode, so we're trying to fix that. And not to cut off this conversation because we will return to it, but it is time for our first ad read. We are welcoming in a new sponsor. Into the AM is joining us as one of our newest sponsors and will be one of 3 ad reads that we do today. That shirt is from Into the AM, as is this. And Into the AM's mission is to create merch that connects with creators and their audience. And they go, that passion pushes us to explore and drives us to create. Into the AM is committed to making premium, high-quality apparel and supporting other creators whose authenticity connects with their audiences. We appreciate what you're building, and it's what Into the AM stands for. I gotta say, I'm honestly a big fan of the stuff that we've worn. Fett, I don't know how much you got from them. I got a t-shirt, which is in the wash, unfortunately. A pair of jeans, which I'm not wearing right now because it's 9 p.m. and it's decently hot inside my condo and I'm not a lunatic. But the jeans are super comfortable. They're like almost like a stretchy style of denim. I really like them. They fit me very well. I usually struggle to find like good fitting clothes because I'm like an upside down triangle. My head and my neck and my shoulders are huge and my waist and legs are relatively small. So I found some stuff that fits really well. And I got to say this thing right here, this kept me alive on my plane ride to and from Munich. I wore it on the broadcast. It's warm. It's comfy. It's got a hood on it. I'm a huge fan. I don't know if you can say the same, but I've liked everything that I've tried so far.
I am a sheep that has no thoughts. I just wear what my girlfriend likes, and my girlfriend does like it. So there you go.
Frankly, I don't think there's a greater endorsement than that. Right? And the one thing I will say is that I know that Into the AM is not like just for esports and just for like gaming and all that jazz, even though obviously it has roots in it. But one of my biggest qualms with a lot of like gaming merch is that it looks like it's made for gamers, and it's the type of thing that I wear around the house, but I never wear out of the house. I have worn every single piece that has been sent to me out of the house. I got a bunch of compliments on this jacket. So kudos to you. And if you're curious about checking them out, if you happen to live in North America or one of the other countries that practices some level of consumerism, you'll know that Black Friday is coming up. So shop the Into the AM Black Friday sale. All items are up to 60% off through the 8th of December. This episode should be out on, I think it's the 21st. So you've got about just a little over 2 weeks to go check it out. This is in it. And then that 60%, by the way, is in addition to 10% that you will always save by using our link intotheam.com/LFN. That's INTOTHEAM.com/LFN. Or if you're too lazy to do that, that is okay. You can click the link in the description below and get 10% off comfy t-shirts, a pair of pants, whatever you want to see on the website through that referral link. I do highly recommend it, and I genuinely quite enjoy it, and I am excited to try some more stuff from them. And Mint, we will get you some post-haste. There you go. Now, back to this conversation about the teams, because we were talking about high quality things. I know how emotional these things can be, and as a caster, I also get into the emotions too, right? Like I've said on this show a number of times, I'm not a guy who cheers for a specific team. Frankly, I don't really care which team wins most of the time. But what I do love is a good story, and I thought that the M80 story was excellent. And all I really just kept thinking to myself was, all of these teams that were showing up throughout the major that looked like they had this almost like Cinderella run happening, right? Like there was a period of time where it looked like BDS might be a team to do that. It kind of looked like NIP was going to be this team of destiny with the way that they were farming North American teams. Then Wildcard jumped to the front of the pack where it was like, oh my God, this Wildcard team that everybody like discounted is suddenly in a position where they could make the finals. And it ended up being M80. And I do think it's kind of funny because, and I'll open up to whichever one of you wants to take this first. As talented as M80 was, and all three of us had M80 in our top 3, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the Super Show also had M80 in the top 3, it does kind of feel like they were the underdog through a lot of this event. Why do you think that was?
M80?
M80?
M80.
Well, I mean, I think it's just like the history of the team. Like, I think I'm gonna be real. I don't like the. It's
You
just
can disagree with me, by the way. If you think that M80 wasn't like this underdog team, like go ahead and say that. But
well, I'm trying to go into the external because I think to me and Mint, obviously, we're like, yeah, this team's the fucking best because we coached this team, bro. We've seen their capabilities firsthand. It brings a lot of bias into it. Well, for me, it brings a lot of bias because I see their capability. I know when they get into a rhythm, it literally just reminds me of like the good old times, and like they're obviously they breached beyond that. But I think it's just the history of like their struggles. Like they failed to make 2 events as the core, like together. Like that's really bad. You know, that's something you don't expect. Like you just automatically expect teams to make events, right? When they're that good. And also like the kind of anticipation that at some point, you know, you'll crash and burn, right? They did an absolutely phenomenal North American stage. And I think when they have that good of a phenomenal North American stage and that good of like a group Swiss stage within the event, it's like you kind of have this expectation as an esports viewer is like, oh, you know, at some point it has to crash and burn, right? And then I think the other thing is just like those fucking first map starts, bro. Oh my God, they literally could not fucking get. They played like the first 5 rounds of every first map just asleep. And it fucking pissed me. Well, it stressed me the fuck out, man, watching that. But I mean, I don't know. Like they just haven't been in an event in a while, you know. So I think people forgot. People like, yeah, man, like everyone else is scary as shit. And I think if that were what it was, then yeah, like I think in my head, at least personally, I never like doubted. I think like I knew if like they locked the fuck in, like they could win.
Yeah, am I wrong? Is it basically they either make an event and they win, or they don't make the event?
Oh,
that seems to be it right now. Yeah.
Is that actually it?
if you count
like as a core,
like how much do you count as a core? Because
4 core.
Okay,
the main 4 core. The main 4.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've either made an event and won. That's a very
and won it. Is that
low
crazy
sample
though?
size. It's crazy, but it's very low sample size.
Yeah, but over a year.
You are right. You are correct.
Over a year. That's all I'm saying.
Over a year. Shit.
So, you know, I just think they came in here as the top dogs. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I think people also kind of were sleeping on North America. I think people watch that episode and probably like, man, look at these North American copium out there. I'm from EU. I like beans on toast. Secret's gonna win the event. Stomping G2. You know what I'm saying? Like, people were definitely, because NA doesn't win very often. The last time we won was Manchester. Sure, we had Fett and we had that core with the core 4. And usually we don't really show up to event. We have a lot of big names, look at Shopify, and then we kind of bomb out of a tournament and go 0-3, or no, they didn't go 0-3. What did they go? 1-3? They went 1-3. Where actually it really seems like M80 is our best international team. So I think everyone knew they'd be at least a top 4, and really for me it was working on the issues of when they didn't make events. It really did seem mental for me. Every time they didn't make an event, oh my God, I don't know if Fett, you remember this, but like I forget what event they were trying to qualify for.
No, they throw like 7 4v2s in a row every single time.
There was that one against Spoit on Clubhouse where he won like 3 2v5s back to back on basement.
Oh my Troy God. Hit a fucking god shot 7. What was it? 7-7, right? It was
the 7-7 AC gunner gets fried.
Troy hits a life shot, plant down, fucking.
Yeah. So it's like the world's out to get them, but it's like their mental in those cases has not been good in that past. But it really has seemed like with Fabian, they've worked on it ever since that EWC Stage 1 season. We've seen them lose a couple 3v5s these games that have made me really like start biting my nails and get really nervous and start shitting my pants, as SSG would say. But I really think what they've been preaching all along in their culture, that they really have worked on the resilience. I think they have, and that is a scary team because they do start out slow, but when they get hot, they stay hot. And again, right now they're looking like our best international team. I think going forward they'll be favorites, and we're not going to be saying that they're underdogs, but maybe going into this because of their like up and down consistency, I could see the underdog kind of story there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, I mean, M80 did have the best result through the Swiss stage, and they certainly did not have weak competition. They 7-5 G2, they 7-2'd FaZe Clan, and then to a lot of people, one of the presumptive favorites going through was Secret, who obviously M80 prevailed 2-1. The only loss they suffered the entire time was to FaZe Clan in that upper bracket semifinal. And even that was really, really close. Map 1 went to OT, map 2 was almost the distance in regulation. And then obviously, M80 would have their revenge, toppling them 2-1. And from a spectator perspective, this M80 team was a lot like TSM. If you remember, TSM used to start slow, like notoriously start slow, and then it would take time for them to find their footing. SSG is another team that's like that. I don't know what it is with these North American teams that really just have a rough go of it right at the beginning, but they're able to turn on the juice, and how many Fabian timeouts did we see where he just lost his mind and then it was like it flipped a switch, and the team from that point onward did exceptionally well. And it really does it speaks to the mind that Fabian is, and it speaks to the respect that they have for him. Right? Like I hate to use this as a reference point, but I do kind of want to bring this in because I don't know if you guys saw it.
This is a great topic. So I actually want to put in a Knicks tweet to throw up on the screen.
Yes, look at us synergizing here.
Look at it, boom, bang, fist bumps, bumps.
I was going to talk about Knicks' tweet because I saw this as well. For people who are unfamiliar with Knicks is a former T1 player who's been bouncing around for the last couple of years, and right now is trying to make it in, I think it's T2. Min, obviously you've got some experience with Knicks in the past, but Knicks basically tweeted out, he had a long thread actually where he got into a bit of a screaming match on Twitter, and I don't want to say screaming match because obviously like it's Twitter, but he did get into a fight with, I think it was Super, if memory serves correctly, and I think Gunnar was in there as well. And just to read the Knicks tweet here, he goes, "I've seen mixed reactions on Fabian's timeouts. A big reason other teams or others don't team with me is because I talk in the same way Fabian is talking here. Clearly calling out mistakes, not sugarcoating anything. What do people think? Why is it wrong when I do it, but praised when Fabian does it?" And look, here's what I'll say. I have no ill will towards Knicks. I think he's a nice guy. I've talked to Knicks quite often. I've talked to him at events. I've talked to him online. I've casted him many, many times. I cheered for his success when he was pulled on to, was it DZ at the time? Was it technically SK? I think it was SK, wasn't it?
We brought him onto SK, first. Yep.
And I remember him playing Echo on that border match, which I think was his first match ever in a T1 level. Like I've seen Knicks' development since the start. And I've never teamed with Knicks. It's not going to surprise anybody who watches this show, but I'm nowhere near good enough to be a pro. Now, with all of that said, I have no shortage of testimonials from people who tell me that Knicks is one of the worst teammates they've ever had. And this is not a one-off or a two-off comment. This is a very familiar refrain. And he does kind of point it out in the tweet where he says, this is how I talk to people. I think there's a couple key differences here. Number one, you are not Fabian. And I know that a million people reference this and said it in response to his tweet. They're like, why are you comparing yourself to Fabian? And he's like, ignore the comparison. But the problem is you can't ignore the comparison because the comparison is what makes the difference here. The difference is that Fabian has done something that literally nobody else in this game has done. He's lifted 3 hammers. He's done it as a coach. He's done it as a player. He's bounced around regions. He made a PSG Talon team that honestly looked like hot fucking garbage, looked like a credible threat to a lot of players. Like, he has turned entire teams around, and he's harnessing this M80 roster really, really effectively. And they trust him, and you can tell they trust him. And you can tell he knows what he's talking about. He's been there. He's walked the walk. He's talked the talk. He's won every fucking thing there is to win in this game. He is allowed to talk to people like that. I don't care who you are. Troy tried talking like Nave to that on DZ and got kicked off the team. Troy is the next most winningest player after Fabian. Like, the only person who can get away with this is Fabian. And that's because the team respects him, the team understands, and sometimes you do need a coach who shakes you awake and says, this is what you need to do, wake the fuck up. You toiling in T2, having never won anything, irritating your teammates and getting kicked from almost every roster you're on, you're not able to get away with this. You have earned nothing. You have won nothing. People don't trust you. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know how somebody has been around in this scene for as long as he has and still has to ask these questions. You should not have to ask, why is it wrong when I do it? It should be so immediately obvious why it's wrong when you do it. It should be so immediately obvious why a guy like Fabian can do this and not get backlash for it. He did get a bit of backlash on social media. I'm sure you guys saw that. People were like, I can't believe he's talking to the players like that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But anyone who's played a professional sport knows that when passion and competition mix, sometimes things spill over, and you can have a credible argument about whether or not coaches should be able to yell at their players or whether it's a good thing for their players, etc. Fine, whatever, talk about that. But I don't know about you guys. I like Nyx, but I was just so fucking stunned seeing that thread because I was like, brother, how have you not figured it out yet? How has it not dawned on you? People even tried to clue him in on it in the thread, and he just rebuffed them. So I don't know if you guys agree with me. I don't know if you disagree with me. I have no idea where your heads are at. But I just saw that thread, and I just kind of laughed to myself, and I was like, oh, not this shit again.
Yeah. I know like most people agree with you. I actually am of the school of disagreement with the general sentiment against that tweet, because I think if you take away Nyx's name, it's a great question, in my opinion. It's a very good question, because it is one of those things, like you said, that no one else but Fabian has managed to pull off. So there's three things I want to say here. The one is what the general like pros have been responding to this with their answers, which is that he's a coach and he's not a player. Very valid answer, right? Pretty straightforward. Two is for me to say is that this is one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing, a coach can do in a video game, right? Because we're not a sport. I understand in a sport you can yell at players and it pushes them beyond their limits. We're not a sport. We're a mental game. It's like yelling at a chess player mid-chess match. It doesn't make any sense. Usually they shut down. And that's what's happened. Look at StuFlex and BDS versus FaZe in that last map. Do you remember that timeout? What the fuck are we doing? Wake up now! They lost. They got fucking shit on, right? So like there are 90,000 times more examples of when a coach has done that and failed than when a coach has done that and succeeded. The only time a coach has ever done that and succeeded is Fabian. Like that's it. It's Fabian and that's it. Everyone else has failed. Mr. Officer, when he called out Noodle, you cannot speak to your teammates like that. He shut down, they lost the game. Noodle obviously later said that was good for me in the long term of my career, but in that game, it singletoned him out, it scapegoated him, they lost it because it was a 4v5 for the rest of the game. Simple. That's why I never did it. I never did tactical timeouts like that. I never did mental timeouts because I never figured out how to do it because it's the fucking hardest thing in the world. No one else could do it but Fabian. Period, right? So like you are right in that comparison is that he figured out how to do it. Now let's talk about how to do it. Okay, like if you do want to be the brave one to attempt to do it, how to do it is the emphasis is not on we are so dog shit. The emphasis is on I know we have the capability to do better. That's the emphasis. It's not, what are we doing? What the fuck are you doing? We're so shit. We're just doing this. This is the problem. It's problem. Wake up. Let's get some energy in us. I know we can do it. Is this where we want to go in a tournament? No, because I know we can win the whole thing. Right? It's the inspiration of hope. Now, to counter that a little bit, I will say every time he had a scary wake up timeout, it was usually on the first map where they lost. If you look at his subsequent timeouts, they were much more tactical and calm. Now, there was a couple cases, and if you look at the grand final, they were almost like all very calm timeouts. So that's the thing. I'm sure they worked. Like, I'm sure they worked for the next map after, but usually they were in the maps that they lost. So did it work for the current map? In my opinion, honestly, probably not. Did it work for the late game play of like let's wake you up for the next map, so next map you're ready. Like, let's start warming up your hands and mouths now during this map so you're not asleep at the wheel for the next map. Yes, it probably worked, but it's a very convoluted question, but it's just more so like I don't think people understand, like, as a coach, that is the hardest thing you can do to pull off, is getting a mental timeout out on a bunch of gamers. There's been one person to ever do it. Everyone else has failed. I can name 1,000 more examples where that has failed. No one's done it.
I think another thing worth pointing out is, to your point about the BDS Falcons roster with StuFlex. I don't know StuFlex at all. I have always thought his timeouts were bad. And it's because he's not mentioning anything the players aren't already aware of. One thing I will give credit to Fabian was Fabian wasn't just mad. I actually think if all we're taking away from his timeouts is that he was yelling at them, I actually think we're missing a lot of the point here. In that rant that he would go on, he would talk about game specifics. They're killing us on the roam. We're too static on defense. We're too scared on attack. They're sweeping us. They're bringing lions. We have no intel. They have so much intel. He's mad, but he's providing steps to close the gap. StuFlex, from what I know of StuFlex, and this could be completely wrong, a lot of StuFlex's timeouts were just kind of like, you guys are mad, like, let's get it together, let's be better. It's like, yeah, that's one thing, but it's basically the same as like when you're mad and they're like, oh, don't be mad. Why don't you just be happier? And I'm like, that doesn't really work. I also think it really comes down to the roster. You know, the Falcons players are extremely passionate. They all know they're good. I think the M80 players are maybe a touch more humble. So when somebody they respect talks to them that way, they understand it and they go, huh, they're right, let's fix this. Whether it be Houghton, because Houghton was quite vocal during a number of the timeouts too. Diffuser would speak up from time to time. It wasn't just Fabian. I think they respected each other and they trust each other and they're like, you know what, you're right, this reality call is what we needed, this reality check is what we needed, let's do it. Whereas I think with a lot of the Falcons guys, they are a very emotional team. Look at what Julio's main purpose was behind the bench through most of these games. Julio was shit-talking the other teams in between rounds. He was yelling at them nonstop. Julio, who is a good strategic mind in his own right, was almost trying to like keep the vibes up. He was a good vibes guy. But the other thing about Julio is that when the rubber hits the road, Julio knows the game well enough where he can also talk shop with them to try to sort out the issues. I think you need somebody who can kind of do both. I never really took from any of StuFlex's timeouts that this guy knew what was going on in the game that was going wrong. Now, mind you, I don't have a perfect knowledge of all of the StuFlex timeouts, but it was just like, I never really took much from his timeouts and thought that they were anything particularly great. Whereas I think, honestly, there was a lot to be gained from Fabian's. I mean, but I'm also just a caster. I don't really know what the players need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you said there with like, it's almost got to be like a positive or like a compliment sandwich, I think they always kind of say, because you are dealing with gamers that have probably not played in sports. You guys mentioned on this, and they probably have never had a coach say things to them. So sometimes you need to know the right things to say, but there has to be some kind of like, here's the problem. We're getting shit on. Wake the fuck up, right? But we can do this at the end of the timeout. There has to be a little bit of positive. And look, I got a long storied history with Nyx. I obviously teamed with him on SK. I thought he was a very good up and coming player. It's Hot and Cold's cousin, by the way, for anyone who they're not even technically cousins by blood. It's like a long story. Their dads just know each other. They've known each other for a long time. So they're technically cousins. You know, there was actually a time when I was a player, we were both players on DZ, where I don't know if whoever people have known me, I'm not usually like someone to scream. I got so mad. I remember screaming, "You were the worst team I've ever played with in my life." Right. Subsequently led to him getting dropped eventually. I just think, and something I'll teach like upcoming T2 players is like, you got to be someone that like contributes to an atmosphere in a positive way. I fully believe like players either have a positive, a neutral, or a negative, right? Like they add like a vibe. It's almost like a vibe counter onto a team. And you can't always be negative or else you will be out of there, right? I'm glad you brought up the Troy thing, right? There was a situation that was kind of stemming for a little bit in DZ that people maybe may or may not know why the reason that change was made. I've talked about it on stream a little bit too. But yeah, you got to be someone like people want to play for and inspiring a little bit. Fett's point too, where you take away the name. Hot and Cold is a whiny IGL as well. He could definitely be pretty whiny. So I get Nix's point with like other IGLs do to it. Like Effect sounds, for at least from what we hear, sounds pretty miserable at times, right? Which I'm sure they are working on with their 10 or 12 therapists or whatever else they brought onto the Falcon staff. But
they had a fucking entourage, dude. There was like,
did you see the fist bumps?
People following them around everywhere.
I felt bad. Everyone they beat, like the whole staff rolled up with the fist bumps. That was crazy. But yeah, at the end of the day, you gotta be someone that people want to play for, play with, especially as if you don't have all the hammers, Fabian does. So I mean, I'm glad you guys touched on that. I'm really glad Fett touched on that. If you just remove Nix's name, because he does have an argument sometimes. Again, Nix knows what he's talking about. There's a reason I brought him on as an assistant coach when I was coaching as well, right? He helped me win the chip at DZ when we won it over in, God, it's not Manchester. Oh my God. I'm forgetting now. My old Charlotte. Holy cow. When we won at Charlotte, right? I brought him on to Unwanted as well. And he helped us get top 4 at SI. Like Nix knows how to do prep work. He knows the game really, really well. I tell him all the time. I actually think he's a really good IGL. He helped me with the Turtle Tactics team I started to show everything on stream until eventually it kind of blew up. It kind of got, I think he got into his own head with the some things that, is personal kind of related that I'll let him kind of deal with. But yeah, just end it on like anyone kind of listening to this, like as far as like you just can't be a little shithead and get your way all the time, especially IGLs, your upcoming T2 trying to make it. Like you can't just make everyone just follow your formula, follow your system. They're not doing it, they get cut. Like there's consequences to everything. You got to be able to at least throw in some positive or at least some solutions and work through some problems sometimes, or else it doesn't matter who you are. You're probably going to be pretty gonzo.
Yeah. Producer David said every team needs a different kind of coach, and I absolutely agree with that. That's probably why StuFlex works on BDS for that long. It's like, despite the fact of like, not going too deep tactically, as all the Brazilian coaches were doing at the time, their team still got second place over and over, which is a great result with a coach that's like basically pure team dad, which is like the old meta of coaches, right? If you look at like Pojo, Man, and they're all team dads. They're all just there for the mental. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, like 90% of the work is mental, right? So the old meta versus new meta, Fabian's like somewhere in between now, where he's found a balance between, getting everyone back on track mentally, or, strategically, etc. But to the point being of like all the different coaches, I do think there are some universal truths, right? Like you said, like there has to be a team culture of, enabling as opposed to disabling, because the best example is like if you are a player that drops 20 kills a game, but you just disable the other 4, you chalk the other 4 players or teams so bad that they all just play like shit, you're going to lose every game regardless, because it's a fucking 5-man player game, right?
Yep.
And there have been multiple rosters where they just replace the toxic dude and then they just win everything, right? Despite the fact that that guy probably is a great player, So it's just team culture. This is the most important thing. Yeah.
That's a great point about the timeout, just to touch on that too. It's like, it really depends if you have a really strong IGL. Like you guys might hear, okay, like even Fabian, you're like, why is he always talking mental stuff? If you have an IGL like Hot and Cold, like Troy, like a fact, right? We got these like really good IGLs that are strategic, and we know they put in a lot of work outside of the game, and they understand their win cons. They need a little bit less. You're not going to hear super. I'm sure if you guys are listening to the timeouts, right? There's some people like Lagonis, right? That's calling the next 3 rounds, or Call Out, who's calling the next 3 rounds. Like those are newer IGLs in those systems, or like maybe not as strong IGLs. That's like a system team. Whereas you're not going to have Super standing behind Troy being like, all right, next round on attack, I want us to run the East take here, bring a Monty. Like Troy's going to be like, what are you talking about? Like he has a better read. He's one of the GOAT IGLs in the entire game. Like he doesn't need someone telling him what to run. Like that's not an ego thing. It's just that's kind of how their system is.
That's really funny you say that because I was calling the next 3 to 4 rounds with hot and cold because I didn't know how to call a mental timeout. So I was like, okay, I'm going to throw 3 strats out there. If one of them sticks, it'll get our mental back up just by winning. So I was
Just
like,
by winning.
yes. I was like overcompensating for my ability to not call mental timeouts back in the day. Alas, back to the main point, which was, M80 and Fabian. By the way,
I think it is Fabian. I think he says Fabian. I've always said Fabian.
really?
He's never really corrected
Is it
me.
really
idea.
Fabian?
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard both.
How about Fabio?
Fabio.
On a white horse.
Ooh, Fabio's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Fabio's a good one. I think the discussion around that is excellent. And the one thing I don't want anybody to come away from in this talk is that we're punching down on Knicks. Is that I completely agree with your point, Fett. I think you and I branched out as to how we approached it, right? Like I obviously focused on like why is Knicks asking this question, and you focused on the well, what if somebody else asked this question? And I think both of them are actually quite relevant to this discussion. Because I think almost everybody who's watching this show has either had a friend or a coworker or a family member or a boss, whether it's a coach, etc., on a sporting team, whether it's just like in regular life, who is very assertive, is kind of abrasive, quite bossy, and doesn't necessarily have a great resume. And I'll tell you this much. If I'm working a job and I have a coworker who is, objectively speaking, not really been terribly successful, and suddenly is telling me how to do everything, and is talking down to me, and is being quite gruff about it, and all that jazz, I am infinitely less likely to listen to them than if I have a coworker who's always been high performing, who's achieved an awful lot, and who's succeeded. Because I think it's perfectly normal for us to distrust people who tell us what to do, or who get mad at us and admonish us when they themselves have not done that much themselves. And I think in a lot of ways, your resume allows you to say certain things. There's justification behind it. There's credibility behind it. And this actually loops back into a chat that we had on this show a couple weeks ago with casters as well. You know, Nick could say something so ostensibly stupid that my brain falls out of my head, but he is Pengu, and people will listen to him and go, yeah, that's not a bad point. If Jesse were to say the same thing, people would be like, the fuck is this guy talking about? He's an idiot. Your credibility buys you a lot of grace, and it buys you a pass. Because if you've walked the walk and you've talked the talk, as somebody like Fabian has, then when he says something, you're going to go, oh, this is actually coming from a place of authority. This is coming from a place of knowledge. And most importantly, this is coming from a place of experience, and that experience has led to success. If somebody who's never really tasted success is telling you the exact same thing, I think it's very reasonable for us to turn around and go, well, why would I listen to that person's advice? If they took their advice, they would have been more successful. Now, obviously, that's a really simplistic way of looking at it, and it's not the full story. But I can understand why people would look at somebody like Nyx and go, buddy, you're no better than me. I'm not listening to you. Whereas if Fabian says that, you're like, holy shit, this guy's incredible. I'm listening to him. Even if they say the same thing. But back to your point, Fett, I think sometimes you need to separate the person from the actions. If you have one coach who's being really helpful and really kind, and another coach who's just being a total dickhead, as Fabian was through a couple of those timeouts, or he wasn't even being a dickhead, maybe that's the wrong word for it. He was being quite explosive and quite combative and quite vulgar. There are people who are just simply not going to take to that style of coaching. You know, it might be good for people who are underachievers, and it might be good for people who need that wake-up call, but not everybody does. A lot of players play poorly and are aware of it. They don't need to be berated or browbeaten for it. So in that way, the medium is ultimately the message. The way that you deliver what you have to say, sometimes to certain people, matters more than what you actually say. And I don't want to jump into it just yet, but that exact line ties in very effectively to the amount of players who talked about Save Siege on the broadcast, because naturally I've got a couple things to say about that. If you are curious what that means, during the Munich Major, there would be post-game interviews and a number of players started talking about Save Siege on the broadcast for a variety of reasons. Sometimes the medium is the message. Sometimes the message can stand on its own. Let's talk about that in a bit, though. I don't really want to cut off this conversation because I am enjoying talking about the Munich Major, but I do want to talk a little bit just about the major itself, because we focused a little bit on the results. But I just want to talk about the overall major, because I thought start to finish, it might be the best major that we've ever had. The group stages were crazy competitive. The knockout stage was incredible. The playoff stage was also incredible. I think the playoff matches with the lower bracket were bangers. Every single game was good. Even the 2-0s were excellent. It was a bit of a slow start on Friday, but after those first two matches, it kicked into overdrive. And ultimately, I think start to finish, it might be the best major we've had. I feel like this is a good time to weigh in and see whether you guys agree with that, because we've had a couple majors that have been really good for the playoffs. We've had some majors that were stinkers all the way through. The Raleigh Major was really quite poor. The Paris Major was really quite poor. Those obviously were old. Then you look at the Manchester Major, which start to finish I thought was quite good. I don't know. Do you guys agree with me? What's your take on the Munich Major? Do you like it? Do you think it's the best major that we ever had in terms of quality of events? And I suppose Fett's giving the thumbs up. Another call to action for you folks here watching. How would you rate the majors and where does Munich fall? But while the audience hears this and then begins frantically typing, Fett gave a thumbs up, so man, I'll let you go.
Perfect. I'll give my short answer, so I'll let Fett go. I think Fett absolutely cooked with that last video. This might be the most competitive major ever.
Oh,
Before
Fett,
the
did you
major
agree
even
on that?
happened, before it even happened, I gotta get props. I gotta get props where props are due, because, I mean, you're absolutely right. Maybe we're biased here because we wanted M80 to win and they won, but not even. I'm trying not to be though, because like you said, like we had some great storylines. FURIA falling 0-2, breaking everyone's bracket. I'm sure. Like I'm sure they throw one game, but 0-2,
dude. It fucked us so hard.
They bring it back and the lower bracket, did we see? Everyone saw the lower bracket was scary looking with FURIA down there.
Yeah.
And then Secret lost to G2 or to G2, and then it's Team Secret versus FURIA running through the lower bracket. You're like, oh god, you do not want to lose and go down there. I mean, even like the group stage, like I said, we had Wildcard. Did anyone pick Wildcard picking top 8? I don't think so. I kept saying that on stream. Like, there's no way any of you guys make fun of my picks all you want. There's no way any of you, unless you were a Wildcard fan, picked Wildcard top 8. There's no way.
I think you and I had SR and SSG in there, and both our brackets got busted.
I didn't pick SSG. I knew they would go 0-3. I said 1-3. They went 0-3. Yeah, I had a feeling. Those guys.
SSG went 0-3. They didn't win anything. They got smoked 1-7 by BDS.
Nope.
Almost made it into OT against Wildcard, and then got beat by Nip in a best of 3.
In the best of 3, yeah. I thought they would go 1-3, but 0-3. They outdone themselves this time. I don't know. I think they have some own issues that I kind of seen going into the major. So I wasn't too confident with them going and making it in. But again, SSG going that low, Shopify even going that low, Wildcard being that high, NIP to you guys, I don't think any of you picked NIP to be top 8. And
I did not.
I had NIP going out 0-3 because of their matchups, and I was very wrong.
Well, they had some tough games too. I don't think we expected them to beat SSG and Shopify. And then to almost take down, like, then they played Wildcard, right, in the playoffs, I believe? Yeah, they played Wildcard, which, man, that would have been devastating if they just kept taking down our NA boys.
I mean, G2 knocked out like every APAC team. NIP could have knocked out like every NA team.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing better is maybe G2 lasted a little longer. You know, we kept the stomping fans in the arena just a little bit longer. But I mean, even like to get the Manchester finals versus Falcons, like I don't know, whoever wrote the script, that's all I'm saying. Like I think 100% that this was the best major that I've been able to watch in a very long time. I can't even think of another one.
Yeah, there was only like I forgot what the tweet was, but it was like this was the only event where like every single team that lost. Oh, I forgot what it was. Was it the amount of maps? And either way, during playoffs, there was only 3 2-0s out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games. Like that is just nuts, right? Like
Yeah.
I think just like going into the event, which I'm glad I got it right. Like I get to like act like, but these things usually don't happen. Like what usually happens going into events is you think you have all these like, well, you think you have a good amount of teams that like are, you know, favorites, and then like most of them like just shit the bed, right? And then like one of them prevails. But this time it really just felt like there were so many people hitting their stride, like so many teams hitting their stride, hitting their storyline, hitting the, you know, like hitting their hero moment at the same time, that even if there were disappointing performances, there were still like 6 others, right? Like, so like the disappointing performances were what, like Shopify Rebellion and like SSG, right? And then like everyone else still did it. You know, FURIA still came back 3-0 and just unluckily happened to go against fucking EWC champs Team Secret first game of playoffs, right? And then G2 beat Secret, and then oh my god, they went against Wildcard, bro. Like, you know, so it's just crazy. I think this is the most competitive event, or at least major of all time. I don't know about SI, obviously it's different, and I think the SI format ended up being great. I think there could be a little bit of tweaking to do with that, so that the BO1s don't count as much, if that makes sense. Because there's a little bit of a complaint of the fact that like the seeding for lower bracket versus upper bracket start depends on how much BO1s you win, which there might be something to do about that. But other than that, I think it was really great, really competitive event, and I think that's why like I went on Reddit actually, and there was this discussion of like EWC versus Major versus SI, and like almost I think 100% of the comments said SI greater than Major, greater than EWC, which is really surprising because like so the pros I speak to are like, yeah, because of the prize pool, and was worth more. But it seems like the people think the major's worth more, and I think a format plays a big factor into that. Like I think a drawn out Swiss stage as opposed to like really fast, like almost singular day eliminations, really like lets you filter out, lets like the good teams like make their way above the bad, like the quote unquote bad teams, right? Quote unquote good teams, quote unquote bad teams. It gives them the chance to like filter through, and that's what makes like that playoff stage so incredibly competitive and entertaining and amazing. And I think this major was a perfect representation of like how much that format means to keep an event, like keep the top dogs of the event all like just dog fighting against each other, I guess.
I mean, we had 16 really good teams competing. I think it was, we were near unanimous in the Super Show beforehand that this was going to be basically the best of the best. I think there was 1 or 2 teams that we were a little bit bashful or a little bit curious on, and maybe not the most happy with. But ultimately, you had a lot of really good teams in there. I went to the video. I think it was after SR got eliminated. And I went to the video, it was like the next day, to read the comments that we did for the Super Show. And people were kind of dunking on us. And I saw somebody on Twitter, I think they tagged me in it, and they were like, your predictions are fucking terrible. You always overrate NA, blah, blah. And I would like to give a very humble suck my ass to that person because 2 of those teams from NA made it in the top 4, and one of them won the fucking event. So you can eat my ass backwards. I do not care what you have to fucking say. You loser bitch, I beat you. That's all that fucking matters. So
Nice.
Oh, it's such a good day.
Sorry, I win. I was right. Like
It's such a good day.
Look, like I'm not an NA stan. I actually make fun of North America so much. I think our region is oftentimes not a top 2 region. I think EU and LATAM eats our lunch more often than not, or Brazil or SA or whatever we call it now. I think NA has a lot of work to be done, but there are teams that just catch this lightning in the bottle, and they are the right teams made for the right moment. I think the Beast Coast roster at the time was the right team for the moment. I think this M80 team is the right team for the moment. And I mean, we're actually about to see a huge shift in the meta with the way that they've changed around operators. So I am curious to see if this M80 team is going to be able to rebound and repeat the success in Paris. But like, look, if you're watching this show and you think I'm biased towards NA, you need to like go back and reread every single thing I've said on Twitter about the region. You got to go back and rewatch every VOD I've ever done. I am a certified NA hater. I make fun of NA more than any other region. Like, there's that clip that gets circulated a lot, which is actually from the Raleigh Major, where I think I walked down and I think it was DZ or somebody fucking lost, or maybe it was EG. I can't remember what team it was. An NA team lost. I turned to the camera and I was like, NA lost, like we always do. And it's like every single time an NA team gets eliminated, there's a 50% chance that that tweet gets quote retweeted about the loss. If you think I'm an NA homer, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. You don't know me. You don't know the things that I say. I don't expect you to know every word I've said, but just like the same fucking losers that tell you that you're making it all about yourself, Fett, there is no shortage of idiots online, whether they are being deliberately obtuse to just try and get a reaction, whether they are just genuinely not smart, whether they take one piece of information and think that that is more than enough to base an entire opinion on either somebody or something on. I don't really know. And frankly, I don't really care. But I actually had a tweet prepared for your tweet, Fett, when you did that whole about like, the guy was like, oh, you always make it about yourself, blah, blah, blah. There's a match that a couple people might know that was called EG versus Penta, or well, yeah, they were Penta at the time. EG versus Penta, SI 2018. Just a little match that some people might know. I remember coming off of that cast, thinking that Kix and I had nailed it. In rewatches, I think that my casting was horrendous, and I wish that that match had to come later when I was a better caster, but that's a whole conversation for another day. I stepped off of the stage, and the first 2 tweet replies, after I was like, I said something like, congratulations, like Penta, like whatever, blah, 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 the tweet that I sent out after they won. Somebody said, you're obviously so biased for Penta. You suck. Like, fuck you. You're a traitor to our region. Bias caster. And then there was another one being like, you didn't give a shit about Penta. I can't believe you're congratulating them. You obviously fucking loved EG. And I was like, how are both of these possible at the same time? Like, how do I walk away from that cast being like, I'm a shill for both teams? Does that mean I did a good job? And it was like, I've been on social media a long time, but that moment like reminded me that some people are just, they invent their own reality, man. Like they invent their own reality about the things that we say. They invent their own reality about the way that you behave. Like you are extremely proud of your friends and former teammates winning a major. And in a candid moment that you were not aware necessarily would be widespread, you let out that emotion and showed some solidarity with your former teammates and let your emotions break loose, which for the record is a great thing. And more people should do. And then some fucking human spud comes up to you and says like, you always make it about yourself. Fuck these people. Fuck these fucking losers. Who cares what they think? Like these people are imbeciles.
Before you disproved what I was going to say, I was going to say that I noticed that both those people were EU fans. They were a G2 fan and a Falcons fan. And then that's what I was saying. It's a great day to win because, like, dude, at every event, I'm just like, okay, listen, I love, like, the EU teams. I love you guys. Like, your players are very nice. We've always hung out. We've always been really good friends. Like, you're all very chill people. The EU fans, dude, in Siege, oh my God. It's like Arsenal fans in fucking soccer. Like, it's so bad to the point where every event I'm rooting for Brazil or NA. Like every event,
no, brother. You have not tussled with Brazilian fans yet. You do not.
No,
get
but
to
like,
say
here's
that.
the thing. Here's the thing with Brazilian fans is like, you know, it's coming. You know, it's like the expected.
All right, I'll give you that.
It's like, you know what I mean. It's like this like mass, like it's like this mass that you're like, y'all love the game, appreciate you. EU fans is just like they'll just say some like wickedly stupid shit, and it's like I feel like it's better if it comes in like Portuguese. Or it's like, yeah, you're stupid. I hope you die in game. And then like as opposed to like some like I can understand it in English, like the just troglodytism, right? So yeah, personally speaking, I prefer Brazil or NA to win.
I have been on the receiving end of the ire of Brazil, and they are scary. They are incredible fans when you get to go meet them in person, and their passion obviously is immediately evident. But a lot of times we say passion because we don't want to call some of them insane, and some of them are. Every fan base is insane. You know, like I'm assuming I have fans that are insane. Fett, you have fans that are insane. Mint, I'm sure you do as well. Like when you start to attract a large audience, you're going to have a couple people that are just kind of off their rocker. And depending on the type of content you make, you might attract more of them. than people who make other content. Like if you are a brain rot streamer, you're going to attract a lot of insane people and your chat is going to be very unwell. If you are a sensible, mature old man streamer, you're probably going to attract people who are maybe more sensible, right?
Wait, where is he to? He's to my left, right? David, producer David, am I pointing? Which one's mint?
Which one's now? Intero's like 40, man.
Okay,
This
look.
way?
I'm
pointing at
22,
mint. There you
6'7",
go.
man, 6'7".
No, okay. Before we go on, I do want to say about the in-person thing. The EU fans in person were very sweet.
The crowd
Very
in Munich was
kind.
amazing. Those people fucking rocked. Those people were
listen,
awesome.
I was co-streaming and they were banging on the fucking middle sheet behind me, but it was never in malice. I would go behind, and I would just give them the heart, and they would give me the heart back, and we understood it was like in good competition and good passion. So it was good. I loved them.
No, I mean, I think that if you have 100,000 followers and 1% of your followers are insane, that's 1,000 people. That's a lot of fucking crazy people. Like it might seem like a lot in comparison, but like that's a lot of fucking people, right? Think about how big 1,000 people can fit like a full-size concert venue, like a decent-sized concert venue. Now just imagine that they're all nuts. That's a lot of crazy people. Like you're always going to have that. There's no way around it. I think the important thing is that if you are a content creator, you try to balance your content so that it's not actively bringing those people in. I mean, Fett, I will say this. When you were streaming the other day and I joined you in Bikini Bodhi, there were some crazy people in your chat. I called Fat Hagrid like 800 times. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow.
I got called Fat Hagrid. I got told Fatty shut up. And I'm like, brother, I spend too much money on Ozempic to get called fat at this point. Okay. Like you are not allowed to call me that any longer. I've lost 20 pounds. You can call me Hagrid all you want. I am not fat. I would like to be on the record for this. Fett, I don't know if I told you this story, but one of your viewers actually DM'd me after you finished your co-stream and was like, I just watched back the VOD and brother, you need a reality check. Your ego is through the roof, blah, blah. And I just responded with, I was like, buddy, if you can't tell like a persona that's being played up on camera, I don't really know what to tell you. Like I deliberately came into Fett's chat to rile them all up and try to drive engagement, get him subs and shit like that. And the chat went fucking ballistic. It's like, not like Fett needs any help, but it's fun to antagonize chat because it gets them talking. It boosts your metrics. Like usually they sub, like whatever, blah, blah. So I came in and I did that to Fett's chat. And a lot of Fett's viewers got like really personally angry. And they were like, one guy's like, yeah, but you called us stupid. And I was like, brother, like 500 people are calling me Fat Hagrid. You don't think I'm going to call them stupid in return?
That's what I'm saying, bro. They call me Chinese and shit, like all kinds of racist shit. And then I'll say one thing back, like y'all are stupid, and he'll be like, "El bully, why are you bullying us? Look at this this big fucking stupid ego streamer, bro." Oh my god.
I used to do it with King George. I used to do it with Bolo. I used to do it with Macy. And I mean, most Twitch denizens understand the game, right? Like they know it's not personal. Most people know that streamers are not actually being authentic. Most people realize that streamers are either playing a character or are yourself dialed up to 11. There are a couple times where it's like people are really authentic. Mint, I will say to your credit, I think you are exactly the same way on stream as you are off stream. I think you keep it 100. I dial
it up a bit.
Well, I mean, you have to, right? Because if you don't, you're boring. But I mean, like you are just you, but excited. That's it. Like I've seen like people excited and that's who they are on stream. It's not like you become a new being or anything. Fett kind of plays it up because of his audience. But I mean, even watching Fett and sitting next to him while he co-streamed, you can tell that he's just a guy that loves ball. And he's going to talk about that. And it's infectious. And he's very natural. You know, but there are obviously streamers out there that you'll watch and you know that they're completely different from who they are outside of streaming. I know a lot of streamers that like put on this huge show, like song and dance, this huge show. And then you meet them afterwards and they are the most introverted, the quietest people that you could ever meet who don't want to be around people and don't really want to talk, but they are amazing performers. And people need to realize that streaming is not real life. It's almost always a performance because at the end of the day, the whole goal of streaming is to be entertaining. I'd only ever been to Munich through the airport. So I was actually quite eager to see what the city of Munich was like. I've seen Dusseldorf, I've seen Frankfurt, I've seen Berlin a couple times. I'd never seen Munich. I didn't really know much about Bavaria other than the fact they really like sausages and they have some really good beer. I was pleasantly surprised, but I will say, out of all the places that we've gone to, it sure beats the pants off of like the Atlanta suburbs. I think it beats Raleigh. I think it beats a couple places, but my main qualm with Munich was that it's a very like conservative and very like religious part of the country, so there's not a ton of nightlife. It's kind of old. The old town is extremely touristy. It's like basically an outdoor open air mall. And our hotel was really, really far from everything, which was kind of inconvenient. We were quite isolated. I think your experience differed a little bit because I think your hotel was a little bit closer, Fett. But I gotta say, like in terms of like overall, not my favorite German city. It was quite cool. I liked being there, and there were some cool spots. But if I don't go back to Munich, I'm not going to be terribly upset. But I honestly, I do feel that way about a fair number of places we've gone to, and the event itself was great. But I mean, the locale was fine. It just wasn't anything special.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I loved it for two reasons. Because dude, they weren't kidding about the bread, bro. I think German bread is the best bread in the world, dude. Even like the airplane Lufthansa flight airplane bread was fire, right? And I'm like, whoa, this is airplane bread. And then I went, the concession stand pretzels were fire, and then all the other bread was fire. But also like I'm also like a bit biased here because I took German for 4 years in high school and I learned all about the culture during AP German. And so like I basically just fell in love with the culture. I think everything basically lives up to the hype. Like the Wurst, like the sausages had like, a lot of flavor and it was really yummy and nice. And I want to have like the bread time Brotzeit, which is just like their like lazy charcuterie board esque like bread with cold cuts breakfast for like every meal whenever I can now, but I just can't find markets down here. That was my big takeaway. Chinese food in Germany, or at least in Munich, was good. Was really good, and that's my number 2 thing for places. If you have a sizable Chinese population and you have good Chinese food, I like you. I always like to appreciate kind of like the dynamic of cities. Or like when I went to Rio, I thought it was really cool how it was like a city, like a very populous city, like smashed into jungle mountains, and I thought that was like super cool. And like I think my interpretation of Munich was like old architecture, and then just like randomly just super high tech, like the fucking trams super high tech, like the systems super high tech, but then all the architectures and the buildings were all like this old style, which I think was super cool. I just love Germany. I don't know. I'm biased because I took it. It was great.
I like Germany as well. I think Berlin is more my speed, more culture in my eyes, a better nightlife. It's a little bit of a weirder city. One of my big gripes about Munich, and this is not Munich, this is a lot of Europe actually, is that everything closes at like 7, 8 o'clock. Like I understand a lot of like everything is closed on Sunday, and it's like I get it. They want a simpler way of life, but like as a North American, I just find it's quite inconvenient. Like I encountered the same issue when I lived in Poland. Like everything closed at like 8 o'clock, and it's like, all right, great, but like I'm waking up at like 9 p.m. because I'm going to the office for like midnight when I lived in Poland, and then it's like Sunday was the one day off that we like had, and then everything was closed. And I was like, I get it, I understand, it's not for me. I'm a Westerner, I know, but it was quite frustrating. And it was like there were lots of times where we would wrap, and it would be like, okay, guys, like it's 9:30, like let's go out for a beer, let's go here, let's go there. What's open? Nothing. And it's like, all right, great. Like, guess we're gonna go back to the hotel and just chill in our rooms. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It didn't really give me the vibes that I really wanted out of a city. Everything else about the major I thought was quite good. The venue was awesome. We were in the Bayern Munich basketball court, which I wasn't even. Look. The only basketball I know about is Olympic basketball and the NBA. I was not aware that there was like an entire like European or German league for basketball, but the venue was really cool. The stage was unbelievably cool. If nobody got to actually watch it, I'd strongly encourage you to go back because the floor of the stage was all LED panels.
No, it was for water.
Yeah, and it was water themed, so they were able to project water and waves on the stage. And as a team starts to lose, water starts to like pile up and kind of like the tide kind of comes in right behind like the player booth. And then when they're on match point, the water starts to turn red because there's blood in the water. I thought it was really, really cool what they were able to do. The production of Blast absolutely knocked it out of the park. Credit to Tommy and his team for what they were able to do. I thought in terms of presentation, it was phenomenal. And I mean, go back and look at Copenhagen. Go back and look at the Atlanta stages, like static images, not a lot of LED panels. Yeah, they had those weird like metal claw things over the stage, and the stage was huge. But like, just because the stage is big doesn't mean it's good. Like, it was a fine stage and I liked them at the time, but looking at the Munich Major has made me now like those stages a lot less. So I feel like it's kind of set like this impossibly high bar where I'm like, we better be getting this level of content and this level of like creativity moving forward, because if not, I'm just going to look back and be like, but Munich was so nice.
I mean, it might be because they only had one major this year, right? So they could just dump all the resources.
True.
I don't know. Manchester was a warehouse. So, I mean, it was great, though. Loved it. But speaking
The vibes
of
at Manchester were great.
I have a point of feedback. I think, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this. I think that, can we talk about the after party? Yes, we can. It's not.
Why wouldn't we be able to talk?
Okay, I don't know. I think the after party should stop being at clubs and start being at like the arcade bar. I think the after party should be sit down and talk to people. I'm sick and tired of this. We go to some place where you can't hear anyone. Like, I didn't even go this time, but all I heard were people leaving early and saying I couldn't even talk to anyone. Yo, all the after party should be at like a fucking bar that's like sit down, a lot of seating, emphasis on more seating, keep the seating coming, a lot of seating, and we just all talk to each other. That's my big critique for Munich.
100% agree. I am not a clubber. I am white. I have no idea how to dance. I go to bars to. Why are you frowning? Do you dance? Are you a dancer? Kyle, are you a dancer?
I'm a big dancer.
Oh, he loves to dance.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I fully agree with your guys' point too. My best memory, I'm sure everyone here, well, maybe not everyone here, but do you remember Yeti losing his teeth?
That wasn't at an after party. That was actually before the playoffs.
Was that before? Were they knocked out?
They were knocked out, and he was staying at the event, and it was like
okay.
Thursday night, and he tried to do the worm and broke his face.
Okay.
In Raleigh. It was Raleigh, right? It was Raleigh.
I think it was.
It was Raleigh.
We did like way back again, like my Unk age here, dinosaur age of after party. They used to be more at the arcade bar, I believe, in Montreal. There was that one La Scratch.
Those weren't official after parties though. Those were never official after parties.
I do remember one in Poland though, where it was like we played board games with each other.
Cyber Machina, baby. When I lived in Katowice, I went to Cyber Machina all the time. That place was legit. And then I stopped going when I discovered that there was a giant piece of glass in my drink. And I was like, hey, there's a huge piece of glass in my drink. I was like, this is kind of a concern. The guy was like, oh yeah, we broke a glass earlier. And I was like,
huh. That's quite concerning.
That was the last time I went there. So
that place was really cool though. At the time.
It's sick. I love Cyber Machina.
Yeah. Because I remember Poge would just bring board games and we would just play like some kind of board games. But
yeah.
I know when it's in the States too, one of the big problems is it'll be at bars and you have to be 21 to drink. And if you think about a lot of the players, they are not of age. So you're not, and people want to go out with their teammates. You don't want half the team to be able to go. So I think that the problem with, in the States, we definitely need a better after party for that situation going on. If people want to go drink,
the Boston after party was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, you don't want to split up from your teammates, so you kind of go do something else. But I guess EU, it's a little bit different. But I completely get the club thing. We're gamers. We're not up in the face trying to show off our dance moves. Like again, if people want to do that, they can go out on their own time. But I think as an after party, right, it should be kind of about the community. People just hanging out, talking, talking shop.
Yeah, it's not, that's not really my style either. Like the last thing I want to do after blowing my voice out, screaming and casting, is going to the loudest bar humanly possible. And like, I would just love to go to just like a normal sit down place. And honestly, this conversation comes up every single event. Like the Sao Paulo after party was at a club that not only was tremendously loud, but the servers were so quiet and the whole place was filled with dry ice. So you could only see like 3 feet in front of you. So it's like you're going upstairs and you're trying to like walk along, and it's just like people are just like, oh my God, like, oh, there's somebody right in front of me. Like, it was terrible. But I mean, I don't know what goes into it. I don't know how they choose these places. The vibes of the place in Munich weren't bad. They weren't terrible, but a lot of people didn't go. M80, I don't even know if they went. And it was actually kind of funny. I got back to the hotel at like, I think it was like 1:32 in the morning, something like that. The after party went till like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. or something like that. But I had to be at the airport because my flight was at like 11 a.m. So I had to get up early. So I left early. I think I had 2 drinks at the after party, and I was like, that's it. We get back to the hotel at like 2:30 in the morning, and all of the M80 guys are in the lobby, except for I think Houghton and one more. And the Brazilian content crew is interviewing them at 2:30 in the hotel lobby, 2:30 a.m. And I just walked in, and like Fabian, like Kino, Diffuser, they're all sitting on the stairs. Gavin's being interviewed, and I just walked in and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And they're like, well, we have a flight in a couple hours, so we might as well do content since we're not sleeping. And I was like, like, God damn, the grind never stops. So
I remember like I got like we wrapped up the last day. I got back. I got to the hotel. I chilled for a bit. I met up with Bolo again. We went to get McDonald's. We sat down, started eating McDonald's. It's like 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m. Pull out my phone. Fabian tweets out, "Our meet and greet is in 30 minutes. If you want to come meet us." I was like, "What the fuck?" They are in the shits, dog. Oh my God.
now, I think that just about sums up our talk about the Munich Major. We've got a couple other topics that I want us to move on to. And I didn't want to stick on this topic for too long because obviously Mint wasn't there, which, means that Mint's been a little bit quiet. But we're not quiet about our next sponsor, Mint Mobile. So for those of you that watched our most recent episode, Mint Mobile is one of our newest sponsors. And I just want to talk a little bit about them because they're obviously a telecom company. They're a mobile service provider. Mint on this show actually announced on the previous episode that he uses Mint Mobile, which is quite crazy. So why don't we talk about it? Because the holidays are coming up, and most holiday gifts end up in drawers or in the back of your closet or accidentally left at your cousin's house. But not this one. Mint Mobile is offering unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. That's their best deal of the year, aka the only holiday gift you'll actually use every single day. It's happening right now. Get a 3, 6, or 12-month unlimited plan for just $15 a month. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. That's America. I'm obviously Canadian, but that is America's nation's largest 5G network. You can bring your current phone and phone number over to Mint, and there's no contracts, and especially no nonsense. I, unfortunately, as a Canadian, am not allowed to use it. Mint uses it. He's raved about it. He talked about the quality of it. He talked about how it's something that he really quite enjoys. I actually have close friends of mine who live in the States who also use it. I wasn't aware of that. I spoke with them after we picked up Mint as a sponsor, and they all said, we love it. We're not interested in changing it at all. So don't get them socks. If you're looking for gifts, get them premium wireless for $15 a month. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/6. That's SIX, not the number 6. Mintmobile.com/6. It's a limited time offer, upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Plans are required. That works out to $15 a month or the equivalent thereof. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. If you go over 35 gigabytes of data, the network may slow you down if the network gets busy. Capable devices required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. Mint, of course, if you want to talk about them a little bit. I know that Ryan Reynolds was one of their spokespeople. As a Canadian, obviously deeply proud of him, but you obviously use the service, so you'd be the expert.
Yeah, of course. It's Ryan Reynolds. That's why I got it. He's such a good looking guy. People told me I look just like him, so like had to get it. Poach would tell me that actually. No, I said it last episode though. I mean, like, yeah, it's not a joke. Of course, Mint has Mint Mobile, but it's it's been a fantastic change and fantastic in my wallet as well.
Could you actually, could you do me a favor? Could you put on your glasses for a second?
These.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Warden on the show.
Okay. 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 All right. Did you see me when I was cosplaying that last co-stream?
I did not, but I saw many a people
Man.
talk about having the real life Warden. Which, by the way, I want to bring up something very quickly before we move on to the Save Siege document that was shared. We always tell you to thank producer David, and here's another call to action. I'd like you to do that yet again. But I think it's worth noting that some of you need to be maybe a bit more sane about the things you say. Because we actually have, and I'm trying to find it here, we have a quip of somebody speaking about producer David in words that no god, man, or country should ever speak. Icon co-leader DH3574 said, "I feel insatiable lust for producer David." And I want to be completely frank with you. We might have gone too far. Because we want you to feel appreciation for producer David. We don't want you to feel insatiable lust. And I know that
there.
And look, I'm aware of how the internet works. I know that now that I've said this, there are going to be a couple of you who are going to try to one-up each other with the most outrageous and deranged comments about producer David possible. And I'd like to let all of you know that that is actually totally okay, and producer David loves it. So if you want to keep that up, knock it out of the park. But if you want to feel insatiable lust about a man who works really, really hard on our show, I'm not going to stop you.
Before we move on, Mint, did you watch Wildcard versus Nip?
Of course, yeah.
Great. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to talk about this on the next one. Be honest with me, was my casting okay?
Yeah, no, it actually was.
Great.
Can I go farther than that? Can I go farther than that?
Yeah.
Because you did the whole thing with Ace and Dez, which I think they do a tri-cast really well. I really liked him with Doki.
Dude.
I could tell, like, I think you even mentioned it. You were like a little bit nervous going into that, but you were doing exactly with what I was saying with why I love tri-cast, and what I think sometimes is missing is like that Tony, like you were able to explain what was happening, explain the takes in such an easy to understand like format, right? Like knowing the pro knowledge that you have, like why a team is going to bring a roam clear op versus a certain thing. Like I actually thought you did really good. I was impressed, and I'm not even trying to glaze. Like I was actually impressed. I thought you're like your pacing and everything with it was actually really good. For a first time, I was imagining myself, because I actually did a color cast in T2 with the whiskey guys as a map, as a one map thing, as just like a let's just see it like for fun, and I was god awful. So I would have been shitting my pants. I thought you did great.
Yeah, I will say, dude, like it is 100% Ace and Dez just caring. Dude, like those motherfuckers are so good at comms. They would be good at Siege. I mean, they say each other's names every time they hand it off to someone. Every time. Like they say
Herd?
Tim this or yeah, it's like dude, you would be good at IGLing. Like, you know, Parker, one of the biggest problems with IGLs in Siege, period, pro league or not, is people will like, come get this wall, and then not say who comes to get the wall, and then no one fucking comes to does, and then like, oh my god, say a fucking name, dude. Ace of Dez, yeah, Fett, like, oh my god, it was great. Anyways, that's me. That's my short segment of me making it about myself for real this time, like actually making it about myself. Thanks, man. Yeah.
I am making it about you a little bit longer because I think Ace and Dez are obviously stupendous at their job. I think they did a great job with the tri-cast with Alfama as well. Though I am going to say that if Ace and Dez do watch this show, you're welcome, because we brought Alfama in for a tri-cast a couple days prior. You know, I'm not saying, hey, you know, like I thought Alfama killed it with Jesse and I thought that was a great match. I thought Alfama did a terrific job. And I mean, I think everybody who works on the broadcast is excellent. I think that the talent team that we had at Munich was impeccable. I think everybody brought their A game, and I think, and I know I said this a couple episodes ago when we talked about casting, I think every single one of the duos that were present at Munich brings something different to the table, and I think it's just a preference. Like, do you want steak? You know, do you want lobster? Like we've got that. You know, like that's kind of the deal. I think Ace and Des did a really, really great job. And I think the growth among the talent team has been excellent. And obviously Ace and Des have a very conversational style. You know, one of their big strengths is it just sounds like two blokes just talking about the game, you know, having a great time. And I think it's really easy to slot into that. You experienced it, Doki's experienced it, Titan's experienced it, Alfama's experienced it. Like they've had a lot of great tricasts. I obviously have done tricasts with a bunch of people. Some of them have been good, some of them have been bad. I am a little bit annoyed that they grabbed you because I didn't know that was possible, or Jesse and I would have asked you to join us, but you and I did at least get an opportunity to cast together at the event. We did the show match.
Yes.
At the last second, what was supposed to be a duo cast actually became a tricast with one of the German casters, Hector, joining us. And I thought he added an awful lot to the show. He knew the players really well. He was able to speak German. He told us a bunch of quirky, like funny little jokes that Germans have, which obviously, as to North Americans, one Canadian, obviously one American, we don't have the best knowledge of. And then we got to see the new Fortress map. And frankly, Fett, you know, you obviously took some time to find your comfort zone, but once you found it, you excelled. And I think most people who go from playing or doing content to casting don't really appreciate how difficult it is when you're actually up there on the stage and all eyes are on you and it's dead quiet. And if you don't speak, nobody's speaking. And I think that can kind of consume people. And you have to have a lot of, you know, you need to be brave. You need to have a lot of courage to do that. And I thought you did a terrific job. You know, I got to hear some of what you did with Ace and Des. I thought it was great. I got to stand next to you and hear you do both color, but also I forced you to do some play-by-play. I thought you nailed it, man. And you've done it on your streams as well. So that's, and if you are watching still, let us know how you thought Fett did, because I mean, obviously if his content stream dries up and he hits the age of 30 and then everybody in his chat starts calling him Unk and he loses all of his brain rot viewers, then maybe casting will be calling. Who knows?
No, it made me think about it, like, for sure. Like, once I want like a more professional esports career, I think 100%, because even if I shit the bed, like which I think I did at a couple moments, which I felt very like, oh well, who cares, right? Like, it was so fun. Like it was so fun. Like I think I don't know how to say it. Like part of being up on like you said, it's hard, but it's like the part of the nerve wracking of it. I think like former competitors like Mint and myself got like a hard on for that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Mint? Like when the nerves get going and like you're trying to hit flow state, then you hit it for like maybe like 2 seconds. Oh my god, so fun. Amazing.
The adrenaline.
But yes, it's so much harder like than people say it is, and I will say like I have cast in the past, and maybe that's why like I had like a bit better of a time than someone else might have had, and it's really hard. Like it's really hard, and there's a lot of critiques. Like I went through a lot of. I was a T3 caster for like 2 games, and I got like I've slotted into most of my critiques from there, and then everything else I tried to implement was literally just from hearing like a bunch of other casters ramble about their game. Like I remember Crow was telling me about like on the side of team is a really bad habit to have. You know, like this on the side of FaZe, on the side of Beast Coast, on the side of M80, on the side like, you know, like, and then yeah, so you know, fortunately I had a lot of like encounters and experience building up to that. It was never a first time. Like I've had like a good amount, but it's fucking tough. Like it's really tough. So despite the fact that we gave caster shit, well, I gave caster shit, it's really hard. It's really fucking hard.
Oh,
and
100%.
you know, obviously it's fair to give criticism when criticism's due, but really fucking hard.
Mint, if you have nothing to add, this is actually an amazing segue to our next topic, which hints a lot on people who don't actually know anything thinking they're experts and providing their opinion on things. Let's talk about Save Siege. So I don't know how many people have been, you know, plugged into social media over the last week or two, but a couple days into the Munich Major, there was a Save Siege document that was shared by, I can't remember if it was Spoit's actual account or the Spoit update account.
Spoit's actual account, yes.
So basically, what it did was it laid out a bunch of things, not necessarily, I don't want to say demands, but it laid out a lot of things that they feel could be used to improve the game. And there's a lot of good, and there's a lot of not good, but I also want people who are watching this to realize that I take this from a casual and a competitive perspective. I'm not taking this from a content creator perspective. And I also think it's worth noting, like with everything, we have our own inherent bias. And if you are a goofy content creator whose bread and butter was doing crazy shit in like hostage and secure area, you've obviously been quite annoyed that they took those out. You're probably going to be banging the drum to bring them back in, even though objectively speaking, I think that is a disastrous idea. So we do need to take this list of suggestions at face value. I'm just going to very quickly read it. We did send it to producer David, but I mean, it's a lengthy document, so I don't know how much of it's going to be able to get shared on the screen.
Can I respond like very briefly to each point you make on whether like I shortly agree or not? Because my biggest thing is my name is on there.
You're on
My
there,
face
yeah.
is on there. I did sign the document, but I signed it out of like, hey, I'm gonna keep pushing for change. Not that I agree with every single point on there. And I remember a couple fans were saying like, yo, like which ones do you do and not agree on? And I just frankly didn't like want to take the time to like list it all out. But I'll do it here, right? This is a great time to do it here.
I suppose since I have you here, this is a great question. How did this document come to be? Did
So
you get
basically-
sent it start to finish and they go, do you want to sign off on this? Or did they say, we're working on a document, do you want your name attached to it?
We got thrown into a group chat that was like, we need to create action to like get Ubisoft to change it now, or else our game is going in the dumps. Now, obviously, a lot of content creators have probably been seeing their money numbers go down, right? As a result of Siege being less popular of a game. And as a result of that, they were on board with it. And it was basically like, let's start a Google Doc, let's throw in all our ideas. So that's why it seemed like it was a very large list of ideas. I think most of it was contributed by Spoit's manager Elegance, the vast majority, but I think also like a good amount from everyone else. I was basically like, yo, I made a video on this already. So if you want to go watch that, like that's my ideas. And then they were like, no. And I was like, oh, okay, so here are my ideas. And they were like, well, that's not what we were thinking then. So I was like, oh, okay, then I'll just agree with whatever you guys put on the document. So that was my interaction with it. But for the most part, if you want me to go through the individual points and just let's say my thoughts after each of them, like just because if anyone
I want
wants
to
to
hear
know
from both of
mine,
you.
and if you guys want to like just we could go point by point, and we can go like we could just say like really brief thoughts. Okay, so this is Spoit's tweet. He goes, "Dear at Rainbow Six."
Are you reading it? I thought the whole point was that I read it and then you
Oh
weigh
yeah,
in.
sorry. Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. Yeah.
Literally, you interrupt me to be like, I want to weigh in on these. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And then you were like, I'm going to do the whole thing. Like, man, have you, hey, hold on.
No, you're right.
I want to keep hearing
Hey,
Fett.
hey, hey.
I
I'll
was
sit here
in
in
flow
silence.
state. I was in flow state. No, you go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I don't care who does it, just as long as it gets done. One thing I do think that is worth noting is that if there's anything on here that you don't want to talk about, just say that. Because there's going to be some points on here where it's like, who cares? Like, move on, right? You know, like, all right. So it started out with a Save Siege. It's a joint creator statement. It says, we love Siege, but it needs real attention. These are actionable steps that can bring creators, players, and Ubisoft back on the same page. I just want to start here and immediately say I completely disagree. These are not actionable steps. These are suggestions. A lot of these things are easier said than done. Here's an actionable step for me to get to work faster. Build me a subway from my door to where I need to go. That is technically an actionable step. That is not realistic in any way, shape, or form. And I will say before we do get into it, a main criticism that I have of a lot of this is that this is commentary from people who don't know game development. And I'm obviously not going to give away any details or anything like that, but I talked to a couple Ubi people behind the scenes. And a lot of them said like, yeah, like we're very acutely aware of the things that these people want, but I think it's worth noting that we need to ground their expectations in reality. Some of these things were removed for very good reason. They didn't elaborate on what. And they're like, and some of these things we can absolutely address. It's just going to take some time. And, you know, I know that a lot of people are like, we'll just throw money at it. I go back to the old adage, like 9 nurses cannot deliver a baby in 1 month. It's going to take time. It doesn't matter how many people you have to deal with it. It's still going to take the same amount of time, right? So let's work through this. They say it's actionable. I disagree with some of that, but we'll go in. All right, so let's talk about what needs to change. This is the first bullet point. Gentlemen, feel free to jump in when you see fit. So let's talk about anti-cheat and fair play. They said implement stronger anti-cheat measures, which is improved detection and ring zero anti-cheat. I don't think there's a single person in the universe who's going to be like, no, too much anti-cheat is bad unless you're a fucking cheater. Create a manual review team for bans, which would be active 24/7. Provide creator tools and manuals for moderation and reporting in real time, and then sue major leakers who repeatedly damage the game's release pipeline. That one I don't fucking care about at all. Leaks are, you know, the devs will vehemently disagree with me on this one, but like, leaks are a way to generate hype among a super small group of gamers. You know, even if you get 1,000 likes on a tweet on Rainbow Six Siege Twitter, there's like millions of people who play this game, so there's still millions of people who are never going to see that leak. I think it's just something for us to discuss, whatever. I know the devs are completely offside of me with this, which is fine. It's their game. They're right. I'm technically wrong, but like, whatever. I think it's fine. What about the rest of this stuff, gentlemen? Anything worth talking about?
Stronger anti-cheat, agree. Create manual review teams for bans, I agree, for like the top of like the top champs, right? Because I think that's where your marketability comes from. Like I made this point in my video, like Spoit, you know, made his whole brand up being #1 champ. You know, like you want to see pros up there or like the next upcomer, which is where like League of Legends gets a lot of the content. Like this next challenger #1 player is this and that. You don't get a lot of content if it's all cheaters and no one wants to play for it, right? Especially for like, I mean, if you want to give like unfair, you know, attention to creators, you could make it for creators too because they are your marketability on stream, right? But I do think that third point is a bit iffy because it kind of trudges towards the idea of giving creators a ban hammer. I think giving them priority and creating a real report with clip evidence, with video evidence, and everything necessary is a good a good idea. But I think giving them straight up like a ban hammer is too much power. And then two major leakers, a little bit just easier said than done, a little bit unrealistic for me. So that's, I think, good, and eh.
I like how you put that. Yeah, I don't have any major disagreements. Obviously, the anti-cheat, it's a big, for me, it's the biggest thing we've been dealing with for 10 years. And I know it's easier said than done. Other FPS games struggle as well. Siege is we're not in the only boat. It's not like we have the only cheaters. Other people are dealing with this as well, even with better anti-cheat. So I don't know 100% what they need to do, but we need to be better. The manual review team, you know, is that just like people like kind of looking at the bans? I'm not, you know, into the coding. Like, is that just like people kind of just taking a look at it, or are they like also playing the game and banning people?
So
That's
it's
a
like
question. He's the one who signed the document.
So like, well, like I think the definition stemmed from like what a manual ban is it's not
Okay.
data driven, it's not detection driven. It's like you look
Right,
at
no
a
bot.
clip and you're like, this guy's cheating, and then you just smite them. You know,
Yeah.
so I think I do think a larger dedicated, I do think a larger dedicated team to monitor at least like the, you know, like the higher ranks would be a good allocation of resources if Ubisoft wanted to, you know, invest more in Siege. I think that'd be a very pretty
Yeah.
productive allocation of resources. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the argument's there instead of, you know, dual front putting it into a team for manual bans. So, no, I
So
I
dual
agree
front
with that.
slander will not stand.
Sorry, that's
It's
on
an
me.
important pillar of our game.
Can we call to action any dual fronters in the comments?
Do you
All
play
action.
dual
Do you
front?
play dual front?
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play dual front? But no, I mean,
Never
agree.
played dual front.
I'm glad it's the #1 thing on here. I think the anti-cheat, we all don't, especially as content creators. I mean, everybody, but you don't want to queue into the game and your hard-earned time, and there's a cheater, right? So, obviously, hopefully it's #1 priority, but everything else, I think you guys touched on.
Yeah.
We used to have, I don't know if it's still in use now, and I'm going to kind of peel back the fourth wall here. There used to be a streamer Discord where if you got to like a certain level, I think the first base criteria was do you have a charm in the game was like the cutoff originally. But then it was like it started to add like bigger YouTubers and stuff like that. And basically what you used to be able to do was you used to be able to like submit clips from your stream directly to comms managers, and like once a week they'd go through it and they'd either say like, yep, like that's cheating, like blah blah, we looked into it more, or like, nope, that's not, like, you know, we reviewed it, whatever, blah blah. And I think those types of resources are great. I don't think that's in existence anymore, so I think it's gone kaput.
Nah.
But I mean, I think people could argue that it's kind of elitist, and there are people who maybe rightfully would get a little annoyed and be like, well, how come you have a line to the top? It's like, well, you know, how come high-powered politicians have a line to the president and you don't, right? You know, like there's obviously like a cutoff here. And for me, cheating is not just a point of frustration for the game, but it's also damaging your brand, and it hurts your marketing. You can spend millions of dollars marketing this game, and all it takes is one person to see an ad for Siege, to go watch Fett playing, and he tries to queue into 5 games, and every single one of those games has a spin bot cheater in it.
Yep.
Do you think that person is going to be inclined to buy the game? No, of course not. They're going to be turned off of it. cheating is hurting your brand and employing people to ensure that the biggest streamers have kind of like a concierge available at all times, or at least most of the time. I think it makes sense from a logistics perspective, because like there have been lots of times where it's like, I will want to try a game. The first thing I'll do is go try to watch it on Twitch, or I'll look up videos on YouTube. And if I Google like Siege gameplay and the first 7 videos on YouTube are about cheaters and how bad the game is and how the game is dying, that's immediately before I click a video, that's going to make me less inclined to want to play the game. If I go watch, and this is a great example, Tim the Tatman tried playing this game probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I remember watching his stream because it was a big moment, because back at the time, we still are a little bit insecure about our place in the FPS scene. But I mean, back at the time, we were still, you know, the kid who thought he was really cool, but wasn't getting picked, you know, first, second, or third in volleyball. So basically we were always like, oh, you know, like Tim the Tatman's playing this game. Yeah. And I remember watching, and in his first 3 games, he had stream snipers that were all screaming slurs at him, like the N-word and everything. And he got team killed. And then he was playing, I think it was Consulate. I can't remember what map it was. He was playing a map and some kid just kept following him around screaming slurs at him, and then eventually team killed him. And Tim the Tatman literally alt F4'd him, was like, yeah, chat, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to play this game again. And it's like, what a bad fucking look that a bunch of fucking virgin losers have now taken a guy who averages 20 to 30K viewers and given him such a horrendous experience that he has no vested interest in playing our game. And look, this is going to be an unpopular thing to say, and I don't really care. You need to act tougher against those people and set an example, because yes, you're turning regular people off all the time by being toxic, but those kids, and they were kids, they sounded like children, they had a disproportionately large impact on how many people would view this game. Tens of thousands of people who might have never otherwise seen our game are now thinking, wow, Rainbow Six fucking sucks. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, and frankly, I don't care if people agree with it or not, but I think Ubisoft needs to weigh harsher punishments on the people who do that, because general toxicity is going to hurt the game no matter what. You just need to go on any Facebook page or any subreddit or anything like that, and every time Rainbow Six comes up, you will invariably find a comment near the top that's like, amazing game, but the community sucks. There's no way to avoid it. There are so many levers that trolls and griefers can pull in this game. It's unavoidable. If they want to be a bad actor, they will find a way to accomplish it. Having a couple kids turn Tim the Tatman off of this game, you are now giving a bad impression for tens of thousands of viewers who are now going to walk away saying, wow, this game is terrible. What an awful community. I think Ubisoft needs to come down harder on those people to send a message that this is not okay. Because frankly, it's not. Like, if you watch XQC play, if you watch Forzen play, I know that they don't have the best communities. I know that their communities are known for trolling them, but it was especially bad. I know, obviously, now he's not exactly the gold standard for streamers, but I remember back in the day when Dr. Disrespect was at his highest, he tried playing the game and the same thing happened. Tim the Tatman tries playing the game. That's what happens. You see all these huge streamers. It happened to Shroud too, but Shroud thankfully had friends in the game and he continued onward. When you have all of these streamers with huge audiences, whether they're good people or not, whether they're good streamers or not, whether they have good communities or not, whether they are infamous people or not, I think we need some kind of enforcement. Like I said, maybe like a concierge to watch these giant streamers to ensure that bad actors are taken care of immediately. Because if you're not doing that, it sends the wrong message to an audience that, frankly, no amount of money can reach. So I know the average person is going to be like, well, that's not fair. Like, the people griefing in my game should be taken care of too. I don't mean this to be rude, and I don't mean this to be dismissive, but you quitting the game because somebody griefs you is obviously bad. A gigantic streamer with tens of thousands of people watching saying they are never playing this game again because somebody griefs them, I'm sorry, but numbers wise, that's worse. So I think it would behoove Ubisoft to invest money in that, because all the money they put in marketing this game gets completely negated by a couple dickheads ruining it for everybody else on stream.
Yeah,
I agree. I remember exactly what you're talking about. So
Yeah, I remember
nothing.
watching
No,
as well.
I got nothing against what you just said. But you know,
Yeah.
after we finish out the rest of this document, it's looking good with the announcement they made. They said a lot of things announced today. So stay tuned. I don't want people clicking off the podcast because it's like, oh, we're in fucking depression mode. It's very hopeful this time. But in
Yeah.
order to get to that hope, we need to run through the despair a little bit. So let's keep going through this document.
Keep despairing me.
Okay, let me go through the next one. Creator supports and tools. I'm sure you
Yes.
guys as creators probably care about this a lot. Several titles have now experienced effective and friendly new player onboarding via sandbox style integrations. This would be far more effective than continued resources to projects like Dual Front. All right, I'm just going to chime in here and say, like, look, we don't like Dual Front. That's fine. But I think that line is kind of unnecessary, and I think that puts Ubisoft on the defensive because there are people at Ubisoft who like Dual Front. There are lots of people who worked on this game mode. So I think denigrating Dual Front is the wrong way to go about this. I think just saying, like, allocating money for that would be sensible. That's all you need to say. You don't need to put down something else in the same time. This strikes me as somebody, again, who goes back to the topic we said before this topic came up, which is that a lot of this strikes me as people who don't have experience with game design and think that they can just do these things. It's not really the way it works. Dual Front getting funding or not has no bearing on whether or not they would have better onboarding. For the record, I think onboarding is great. I think this is a brutally hard game to learn. I think we don't train players well enough. I think situations were inadequate. I think the system they have right now is not great. I think a proper tutorial style system for this game would be excellent, and it's something that we are sorely missing.
Yep. I mean, I this is another thing. Just like I would love this. Like as a competitor, I would love this. But it's just like to put in a bullet point there as like an actionable immediate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
actionable.
It's like it is something that the game would be great with. It's just I feel like the context of this document kind of puts it in the state of this would be great now. You know, y'all gotta work on this now, and it's like that is one of the hardest things. Like you just basically told them to build Rome. Same with the next point as well. If you
I
want,
heard Rome was built in a day.
Yeah, I heard Rome was built in a day. But
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and just read the next one. That's cool with you, Parker.
Yeah.
CS2 integrates community made maps. Siege should follow suit. That's entirely like engine dependent. I
This
don't
is an
even know.
insane request and is
So-
not, as far as I'm aware, is completely impractical.
Yeah, so the first one, like I actually agree with, like a sandbox style would be amazing for the game because it's such a creative game.
Mhm.
The second one is like I don't know if that's physically possible.
I know the hurdles that are, at least from devs I've spoken with, I know the hurdles of just getting community skins in the game. With how complex this game is, I do not believe it is possible for them to make maps. From everything I've heard and everything I've been told, there's no universe in which the community could actually make like a fully functioning map. But I mean, hey, I'm open to being wrong, but I think this is one of the most impractical things on the list.
Yeah, and I think people like before we go on to the next because the point also after it says eases development pressure on Ubisoft by allowing community developers to build within the game to provide more content. So that's kind of the same point, but at the same time, it doesn't really work out that way because one, Siege works on an entirely different engine, so it's it just functions differently, just like off pure just programming, right? Two is like I don't think a lot of people understand the effort in which like the game updates are made. So when Blackbeard was first released, it looked really bad because we were in a really terrible shield meta. But you have to understand that Blackbeard was planned a year before this. Like they're working on right now, they are working on shit that's gonna get released like a year and a half later, right? So it's like everything's meticulously planned, takes a shit ton of time, and also like really big updates knock the wind out of these developers. Like Siege X literally shat on them. That is why we barely got content in the next update ever, because like they were so wiped out by like how big of an update Siege X was. So I as a community, I just want us to like keep that in mind that like these are real people that pull up to work and like if they have a deadline, like it's like being an animator at like a big anime studio, like it knocks you the fuck out, right? So I just wanted to keep that in mind, like the effort that it takes place, and that's the scope that we're going with, looking at all of these individual statements. Obviously, my signature and like profile pic is on this, document, so I support some of it, but for the other ones, I want us to keep that idea in there.
Min, I don't know if you have anything to say about this, but I think one big difference between us and CS2 is that CS2 also has community servers. We don't.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to just do a community map and throw it up on a server and have people do that. Like you can go play CS, you can go play gun game, you can go play surf maps, you can do all this different shit because there is like you can create your own servers and play off it. Siege does not allow that. Siege is all ran like server side, like it's all on them. So we can't host local servers. So like there's no real sandbox way to do that. It's not like you can have like a what is it, like Mike Myers or whatever game mode that they want to play, or Jason or whatever shit that they do. Like you can't just do that unless you make your own custom game. And even then, like in order for it to be in a custom game, it needs to be in the game. They're not just going to start adding random community maps, even if they could be made to the game so that you can make custom games. They'd never do that. So
Yeah, I also wanted to say like I don't even know if we have the player base to do that. You know, like if we started diluting our player base into more and more custom lobbies, who the hell's gonna play any?
Who's
Like,
queuing
how
up?
are we gonna get? Yeah, we can't even get games now.
No,
You
that's a
know,
great
let
point.
alone
too many people
If-
playing dual front.
yeah, like we can't even get games
Hostage.
now. Let alone like you make 70 more community game
Yeah.
modes. So for me, that's why that second one I disagree with. First one agree with. The second one disagree with.
Yep. I mean, it would be cool. My favorite game of all time, Halo 3, 2007, had Forge mode, and I mean, yeah.
Forge
I
was
mean,
revolutionary, dude. I remember that shit came out. I felt like a wizard.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I remember standing in line at midnight, and everyone was ready to go play multiplayer. I went home from midnight and I forged because that I was making maps because like that shit was revolutionary at the time. 2007, and it also had a theater mode, which is insane. I just don't think. Also, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't think Siege really had that in mind, and like you kind of build from the ground up with that in mind. Which, fair enough. Like we don't have it. It would be cool, but we don't have it. I don't think we're gonna be able to get something like that.
Yeah.
I would be a fan of it, sure, but I to the point of like, yeah, it's not actionable or anything. Like, it's not like we need this or Siege is not saved. I don't agree with
Yeah.
that point either. Sure, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like you thought you knew Blood Gulch. I was born in it, raised in it. I made the maps.
Also, like it. I mean, the community maps too. But we talk about not allowing Ubisoft developers to build within the game to provide more content. This might be an unk take here, but we have 24 goddamn maps in Siege. I
Mhm.
mean, is there another game, like a singular game? I'm not talking like a whole franchise of like Call of Duty and like all their maps. Like, we have so many maps. Like,
yeah.
I'm actually a fan that they just like reworked a map in Fortress, which I'd love to talk about because I played it already like 15
We will.
times. But I'm actually a fan of reworking. We have some cool maps and with some cool themes. I'd love to see Yacht playable, right? I think that's a cool theme
Yep.
of a map. I'm a sucker for maps that have themes. So, getting a map every goddamn season, like I just don't think we even have the storage space. I know, like I think I saw it was Fett video or someone's video too. Like, we used to have night maps in the game for people that just started recently, but I think that's coded as like an actual separate map. So
Yeah.
to have a night map of every single map is literally, we already have 24 maps, so you're talking 48. Like, we just don't have the space. I don't think we have the storage for that. Like, sure, it was cool, but
We do have a
Yeah,
night
it's
map in the game right now. Two, actually.
Yeah.
Emerald Plains and Lair.
Long story short,
are we in a
Yeah.
cave in Lair?
Well, but it's still dark. And I think if you look up, it's night out, isn't it? But Emerald Plains is
No.
at like
I don't
the
play
boat.
that
there,
map
they're
and
both
that
there.
map.
Emerald
They're both
Plains.
there.
Emerald Plains is
Get 'em,
definitely
Fett.
like
Get him.
mid-afternoon.
mid-afternoon, yes.
Well, I'll accept that
It's
take.
dark.
I mean,
Mid-
regardless,
It's
point,
gloomy.
point being,
It's gloomy.
Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of like some of these changes would just require like literally reworking the infrastructure of the game.
Mhm.
Which we could also talk about later on. But
Yep.
yeah, to gameplay balance, you wanna like just get quick responses.
I don't think we need to talk about all these. I think we should touch on the points that we want
Sure.
to, like rollback limb damage. Anybody disagree with that?
I agree with that one.
I agree
with
that.
it.
I agree.
Yeah.
With that. Keep going.
Like I think we should like talk like this, like get the point and then just like
Yeah.
quick response. Like
Yep.
ACOGs. to previously removed operators and consider a return of the 1.5 scope.
Disagree. 1.5 was literally everyone used it, and then
Hated the
I think
1.5,
removing ACOGs like made me think about picking something for the util. Like I used to pick Doc literally just to fight people with Doc, and now I don't pick him for the
Yep.
Yeah. I
Same,
think it's an okay balancing thing. Yeah.
yeah. Same's happening with Aruni right now. Obviously, she was quarantined at the Munich Major because there was a glitch with her gadget, but half the teams were like, we just won't use her gadget. We just want the DMR with the ACOG. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's not good. And I mean, 1.5, bring back 1.5 scope is a microwave brain take. Like, that's just like, how many seasons did we have to see? Wamai gets the 1.5. Everybody plays him.
Yeah.
He loses it. Alibi gets it. Everybody plays Alibi. She loses it. Warden gets it. Everybody plays Warden. Like, no, like the 1.5 scope was just being passed around to the shiny new operator, and then that became the meta op. Like, no, 1.5 being gone has made the game a lot healthier. Don't bring it back. This is a silly thing.
Agreed.
Nerf shield slightly to make them more supportive, not dominant. I think that's a no-brainer as well.
I feel like that would just
Yeah,
be the limb
agree.
damage.
Yeah.
I feel like
That
that's
it also-
kind of all that really need. Maybe Montaigne as well. Like, I mean, the
yeah.
5-hit thing, people know how to counter it now. So like, I don't know, watching a 1v1 Montaigne versus somebody isn't still the most fun. So maybe something there, but other than that, I feel like shields are fine. Just revert the limb damage.
Yeah.
Focus on buffs for low pick operators rather than nerfing high pick operators. That's also a thumbs up for me as
Yeah.
well.
Great.
The
Yeah,
only
make
thing
the
I
game
will
fun
say
again.
though, sorry.
Make the game that's that hashtag
Yeah.
make the game fun again. Like we don't
Yeah,
make
like
game
make
fun again,
everything
yeah.
broken as opposed to like nerfing something into the
Yes.
ground
Yeah.
and bringing something back up. You force
Agreed.
another meta. You
Yeah.
know,
Agreed.
we saw it with Grim. Like Grim was literally dog shit when he came out, and then they made like literally like just upped every number, and then he's really
Yeah.
really good now. So yeah.
The only caveat to that, to me agreeing, is sometimes, as Mint and I discussed previously, sometimes low pick ops are fine. You don't need every op to be a high pick operator. Like, you look at
Chonka.
an operator that's strong but situational. I don't think they need buffs. Like, I don't like.
Mhm.
Like,
I think
leave 'em- leave 'em there.
Chonka's like never played in ranked and literally is one of the most useful like ops in Pro League. So
play.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
Reintroduce hostage and secure area to rank. That is one of the worst things on this list. Please do not fucking do that in any
Bad.
universe ever.
We're gonna
Those game modes are ass. Do
Yeah.
not bring them back to ranked. The last thing we need is people. What is so funny?
Jeez. Just
Those game
digging
modes
into
in
it, man.
ranked are ass.
Yeah.
Hey, look. I think secure area and hostage can be kind of fun in a casual game mode, but there's no universe in which they should be in ranked. These
Casual.
are
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
There
keep
you
them in
go. Good
casual,
take.
keep them away from ranked. Like if you want to go play hostage secured area, go dick around in unranked or whatever game mode it's in.
Yep.
My ranked queues are long enough as is. Now they've started throwing console players in who look like they don't have thumbs. Like, no, thank you. I don't just regular game is ranked. That's it.
Yeah.
Add new game modes and monthly events. I don't really care about this. This is
I
very
thought they
clearly
already
content
did
creator
that,
bait.
though.
I don't give a shit about this.
But
like,
I thought they did this. Like I thought this was being done. Like I thought they were doing this. But I mean,
Well, announced roadmap, but
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's
Well, I thought they were doing this
good.
before. Like I thought we already got Showdown back like one time this
We
year.
did, but
They
it's
have
real
been cycling in
slow. It's real
arcade stuff
slow.
more
Yeah,
frequently.
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought this was being done. Okay, continue.
Maybe they just want it to be like League where these game modes are in for much longer. I will say that bringing a game mode in and having it only for like a couple weeks or a month is not long enough. I think they could definitely do longer, but the other problem is it takes up space. And
Yeah.
from what I've heard from the devs offhand, and I'm not giving anything away here, but apparently the amount of people who play these game modes dramatically plummets after the first like couple days.
Oh yeah.
So like they'll add like Rainbow is Magic and it will be bonkers for like 4 days. And by the 5th day, it's a ghost town. And it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, like a couple hundred people play it, but it's like, is it worth keeping it around? Like, anyway,
Mhm.
introduced. So here's an interesting one. Introduce separate ranked ladders, 1v1, 2v2, 5v5. So I don't know how to interpret this, and maybe Fett, you can help me, because if I'm interpreting it at face value, it seems like they want a 1v1 and a 2v2 game mode. I think that is
Yes.
fucking silly, and I think that should not be in the game. But if you interpret it as like solo queue,
It's
duo
not
queue,
solo
or,
queue, duo queue.
Yeah, it's not that.
then it's fucking
Yeah.
stupid and it should not be in the game.
So when I first saw this, I also like I did not know like so the amount of Jinx viewers that really want 1v1 2v2 game modes in this game is like tremendous, and I didn't like expect that at all.
Yeah.
And when I
Why?
first saw it, I was like, that's bad. Well, like it would be great if it could be done, but I don't think it can be done because I think it would just dilute both player pools to where both player pools would have hard time finding games.
Yeah.
Then they announced that they're adding it, so good to them. And I am still worried about the player pool dilution. My suggestion to that, if like, because I think more game modes, less people playing each game mode totally, harder time finding games. My solution, at least for like the US servers, would just be to like do centralized server finding. So like checkbox all the servers you want to queue on, and you slowly branch out to find each server you can queue on, and that like unites all the players on like West US, Central US, East US, South Central US. Because if you don't know, you play on a certain one of 4 servers in the US. If it feels like a ghost town and you can't find a game, it's because your server's dead at that time. Late time, East is dead because everyone's like asleep. West is still up. I switch to West, I get games. It's like that, guys. So I think centralized server finding like Valorant would be a great fix to that. But yeah, I guess it's in the game. So it's gonna be it's gonna be added to the game. It's in the plans. So shit.
They announced something with Game Pass, didn't they, at the event where it was like 1v1s or something? It was like a Game Pass sponsored thing. Yeah.
That's how I'm going to SI. They're flying me out after I win that tournament.
I just do not care about 1v1, 2v2. Like, if we're like, I don't understand how they're like, we need to save Siege. We need to get rid of gimmicks like dual front, but also bring in 1v1 and 2v2. And I'm like, are you not breaking the whole premise of this document? Is the whole premise of this document to not like bring Siege back to its roots and like improve upon the things that made Siege so good in the first place? Why are we introducing more gimmicks? Like 1v1 and 2v2 to me is just so silly. The game was not designed around that. Everybody's gonna play fucking Vigil and everybody's gonna play Deimos. And it's gonna be the most boring shit ever. I don't like it. I don't like it. So
yeah.
I want to make Siege fun again. I don't want to make it whatever this would be. So
no, that's a good point. With the Vigil Deimos thing, I don't know. It's kind of been growing on me. I like it feels very console though. Like I also came from console, not Siege, but like in COD, you're getting absolutely shit on. You message the guy 1v1 me, bro. Right?
1v1
like,
me on Rust, baby. That's the ultimate gamer talent,
right?
Yeah.
Like 1v1 me, Halo as well, Guardian. You just like this
guy.
What
is it, Facing Worlds on Unreal Tournament or Dual Worlds or something like that? It'd be like,
yeah, you go back even farther, exactly.
Yeah,
like it's been a thing, but it's like it doesn't feel natural in Siege.
And before games, they used to 1v1 at like sunup or sunset, and then they would walk, and then they would.
Wow.
That used to be.
That was like our times. That was like our times. Yeah, you're right.
That was like when you and I were children.
They would 1v1 out back. You're right.
Yeah.
So it does feel weird, like PC community, because that's not what this game's about. But like old dog, new tricks. It's kind of been entertaining to watch. But you're right. The operator thing is a problem. People just play the same stuff. It's not really fun. But I don't know.
Moving on, just in the interest of time, address rank 2.0, return it back to 1.0 whilst an alternative is built, as opposed to making people wait over a year in hopes of positive change will come. Understood this will impact queue times, and people will prefer to wait than to have their time wasted within the server. This is something that I think is easier said than done. I mean, I am completely ignorant of the tech on it, but I don't think they can just flip a switch and go back to 1.0. I also don't think that's the way to do it. I mean, I understand the frustration with rank 2.0. They then follow up with the make rank progression reward skill, not time. That's a no-brainer. Like those 2 points right there are like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But I think tinkering with rank 2.0 is preferable. I don't think they're going to be able to go to ranked 1.0. I think that's a lofty goal that will not be achieved. And that again ties back to the thing where it's like, I read that and I'm like, this strikes me as people who don't actually know how most of this works.
Yeah, I think ranked. I think it'll be more likely a ranked 3.0 than anything, which they have been teasing for a while. Like, and I think they know that ranked 2.0 is a problem. I think ranked 2.0 served its purpose, which made a lot more games happen. But I think they feel the frustration with people on the overall experience of where like none of the colors on the enemy team and your team just matter, right? It's like you go into a game and it's like you're copper and you're playing against another copper, but you're both just actually champ. Where like you're a champ playing against a champ to get to champ, whereas a copper is playing against a copper to get to champ as well. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. I think it's a big frustration, and there's like a lot of unskilled players in the upper levels as a result of that. But it served its purpose. It made a lot more games happen. It's just, I think from what I've heard from a lot of different players that play a lot of ranked, is like
when they get to the top, they actually prefer higher quality matches. So I think the devs know it's an issue, and that's why they announced at the reveal that they're going by they're making display ranked a lot more like sorry, I think it was make display ranked mean a lot more, right? And they make it so that you go against people that have the same display rank as you, as well as like they make it so that the highest number elo in your queue is the one that like matters as opposed to the average. So you remember, so if you're like 3 coppers, 2 champs, you go against all champs, as opposed to you just get a queue with coppers as a champ and then get like lower games.
Last point on this particular gameplay and balance section is no more changes to the game based on pick rate /X win rate graph data. That's when they look at it and they're like, okay, like Ashe just played way too much. She wins too much. We need to nerf her. Like, I think in a vacuum, it's silly to do that. I think there are lots of times where they just like look at an operator and just kind of panic nerf them without thinking of why. Like, for example, when we were in like the 20-second meta, yeah, of course, every operator with frag grenades plus Zofia plus Ashe were super powerful. And then they decided like, oh, those operators shouldn't be as powerful. And it's like, you don't nerf them. You nerf like fucking Malusi and Goyo and all this other shit that makes it so you have to bring explosives. Like if you nerf them, and I actually gave this feedback directly to the devs at a feedback meeting. I was like, the more that you make these operators with bulletproof gadgets, the more it requires the attackers to bring explosives. If you make it like the Banshee does now, for those that didn't play Malusi at the beginning, that didn't open up to shoot it. There was nothing you could do. Maestro cams, there's fucking nothing you could do. You didn't have nades, you're fucked. Like, that's it, you know? Like, so now they've made it so they all have weaknesses, which means you can still bring explosives, but you don't need to. Instead of nerfing those operators, they need to look at why they're at that current point in the meta and then act based on that. And I think that's been the major Achilles heel for Ubisoft, is I don't think a lot of their balancing has been, the scope has been wide enough of why. And I think they need to look at more why certain operators are underperforming and why certain operators are overperforming. A lot of it as well as feel. When Ashe was at her best with an R4C, she just felt good. It felt good to entry as Ashe. She was the entry fragger. That's it. Instead of nerfing her, make other operators feel good to entry. That is really and that goes back to their point about like, don't nerf, buff. So I agree with half of this, but with like a healthy, like, you can still do that. Just make sure you know why they're where they are in the gradient.
Yeah. And I'm really glad you brought up that point, and I'm going to go a little bit off topic. I'm going to try to make it fast so we can go to the next. I think that's a really critical design philosophy that like the developers I think are starting to uphold a lot more and more and more with each change, which really big props to them. Is that Siege is a beautiful game because it can be this amazing tactical, you know, complex maze, or you could just shoot someone in the face. Like the fact that you could do either at all times seemingly makes it beautiful. It makes it like so widely appealable and makes it great. And I think like when you take that away from people, that's when things get frustrating. So when shields have melee priority, frustrating. Like you said, when Maestros literally had nothing you could do unless you had a nade, frustrating, you know? And that's like Azami's before you could shoot and break them, which is why their changes are so good. You could just by yourself, no ability, counter Azami by shooting it. Just by yourself, no ability, punch a Maestro in the face. Like punch a Maestro camp, right? Just by yourself, now win a melee fight against a shield. I think that's great. Like, I think everything should be counterable just by existing with no utility. And I think like as long as that's upheld, I think the game isn't like, honest to God, the operator could be fucking crazy broken and it's still in relatively a balanced state.
Yep.
You know.
Look at Mira now, counterable by walking up and meleeing it, shooting it from below, whatever.
Yep.
Look at Aruni, her gates. They are technically counterable. If you walk through them, you take damage, but at least it turns off her gadget. Castle, you can melee those barricades. You don't just need explosives or a sledgehammer to get through them. Like, I like options. I don't like hamstringing certain attackers or defenders and saying like, here's the only way to do it. I think that that's bad game design. I think it leads to unintended consequences. I completely agree with what you say. Kyle, anything for you before we move to the second portion, which is photo number 2?
Yep, keep it rolling. We're good.
Go ahead.
All right, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Assuming that producer David, who you have an insatiable lust for, has everything up here. And by the way, while we're going through these points, another call to action for you. We want to know what you think of the Save Siege document. I know that we've talked a lot about Save Siege since this podcast came back. It was not intentional. It's just so happened that the Save Siege movement sprung up at the exact same time that we were bringing this show back, and it has dominated the conversation within our community. We cannot ignore it, and as annoying and as trite as it might be that we keep coming back to it, we keep getting given reasons to come back to it. So here we are. Cosmetics and creative direction is the next point. Develop new skin bundles every 2 weeks. That's just not going to happen. There's just no way.
Deadline.
No, I mean, no. Yeah, like that's
So,
just
for people who don't know, the
Just no.
pipeline for charms and skins is usually anywhere from 3 to 9 months. I know that when I got my charm in the game, they were working on a 6 to 9 months timeline. It takes time for this to happen. There are a lot of things, especially if you're going to go for multiple skins, that can be tough for you to wrap it. I've talked to Ubisoft devs. I don't understand the technology behind it because I'm not that smart and I don't know anything about game design myself. But every 2 weeks, no, I think that's silly. But the Paragon style rotating skin bundles sounds like they want to do like the FOMO style thing where it's like it's only in your shop for a couple weeks and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that because I think it's anti-consumer. I think it plays on people's desire to get things then and now. It is a good marketing technique. I don't think it is good for the end user, which means that it makes a lot of money, which means that ultimately it's good for business. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about Ubisoft's business. I care that the game is able to stay alive. But whatever. Yeah. I also have heard from teams that they have found that R6 share stuff struggles because there's just so much out there now where it's like, oh, you want a 9th L85 team skin? You've already got so many. Why would you get another, you know? I do think there is room for them to be more creative with their skins, but the problem is that the moment that they step outside the box, there is not an insignificant part of this community that begins screeching and whining about realism. Like, I think the Valk skin is cool as fuck. I think it is awesome. I think it's great. I think it's rad. I think it's unique. I think it adds so much to this game, and there's a huge portion of this community who's like, that's not Siege. It's so expensive. And I'm just like, okay, like.
I'm just happy they're making money. Like, whatever makes Ubisoft more money from Siege. Like, keep my game alive, G.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's cool if the store is cool. Like, I wouldn't hate a Valorant-esque store for myself. I mean, that's but it's not like a need or a want or anything like that, though. I mean, it's cool. I do wish though that there was just like one little feature in the game. Again, this is not a need, but like a loadout kind of thing, right? I feel like this has been talked about before, where like there's a lot of competitive players. I don't think they make up the majority of the game. Don't get me wrong, guys. But just in general, I feel like I wish there was a loadout, or there was some type of easier way to take off skins and change them. Because right now you have to take how many operators we have? We would say we have no content, but there's so many operators. I was doing a video one time and like, let me put like black ice on all my guns real quick. And there's like not a very simple way. Like, sure, there's apply all sometimes, but like not for black ice, I believe. And then if I want to take off black ice and I want to customize my operators, like make them drippy for a video or something, that alone took me like an hour to go through every single operator and like look at my skins and everything. Like there's, I just wish there was a easier way to do that, or easier way to like, I can run my competitive skins, which you can only use Pro League and and default basically. I want to be able to take that off and play my ranked skins, or I want to use my whatever I deem my funny skins. I want to run my funny skins. There should be a way to do that. That'd be cool.
This is another very brief criticism I have of the game, and I actually talked about it on my own stream about 2 weeks ago. I find the menu system in navigating Rainbow Six to be among the worst of any game I've played in a long time. There are menus in menus in menus in menus in menus, and it is exhausting. Like, I boot up a game like Overwatch, I boot up a game like League of Legends, I boot up a game like Valorant. Shit's just there. It's just there. I don't need to dig for it. A fucking monkey can navigate those menus. I boot up Siege and I have to click like 7 menus to get to the shit I want. I think that is something that is more of a consideration than people are willing to pay. And genuinely here, this is not a call to action. I want your feedback. Since Siege X came out, I find navigating this game to be a fucking nightmare. And I mean that. I do not enjoy navigating those menus. I don't like trying to find shit, whether it be changing my settings, whether it be changing my graphics, whether it be changing my loadout, whether it be going through the store. I just find it so convoluted. And it's like half the time I just want to give up. It's like, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they're able to make it better. I don't know if they can streamline it. And I don't know if you watching right now agree with it. I don't even know if you've even thought about it, but I crashed out on stream a couple weeks ago because I was trying to find something and I could not find it. And I'm like, I probably have tens of thousands of hours watching and playing this game accumulated across almost a full decade. If I'm not able to find it, good luck to more casual players. Like, I don't know what needs to be done, but I desperately want a UI overhaul or UX overhaul or whatever the hell it is. I just want shit easier to find and I want it way simpler. Like, sorry, I'm a smart guy. Sometimes I'm dumb.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm fat Hagrid. Like, I'm lots of things, but like, let me navigate the menus without having to go through 900 sub menus. Like, please, I beg you. So that's my comment.
I've had the same thing, Parker. So I'm glad it's not just me. Maybe we're just unks, but like I get lost, very, very lost. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there was a section in there where it shows your latest new skins that you unlocked. I had no idea that they was using a feature. I bought a skin and I'm like, I couldn't find it. And they're like, go here and then click this and then go here. And I'm like, wait, what? Why was this in the game? So yeah, that's a good point.
It's just needlessly complex. Let's move on to the add a toggle for tactical realism to hide cosmetic skins for those who prefer a classic look. We cannot latch on to this factor of tactical realism being the reason we don't make more cosmetics any longer, as clearly the appetite for tactical realism is negligible at best. I disagree with that. I still think there is a huge portion that like tactical realism. There are lots of people who don't like and will constantly say, oh, we've become Fortnite. Every game becomes Fortnite because people realize that the skins sell better. I'm sorry. I don't need a 9th hat on Ashe that looks exactly the same. Give me cool shit like her boxing helmet and stuff like that. I don't care if it's tactical realism. We didn't have tactical realism from the beginning. People were pulling reinforcements out of their ass. Thatcher had a little mini nuke in his pocket that would demolish city squares, and it works in a tiny radius. Like, this game suspended disbelief from the very beginning. And it uses car batteries to shock walls. I understand where these people are coming from, and I don't think that they're completely wrong, because there are some goofy skins. I fucking hate that I see Rick and Morty shit running around. Don't get me wrong. But like everybody draws a line differently. I think there's room for cool skins. I completely agree that there should be a toggle for me to just turn stuff off, because I will tell you now, both playing the game and casting the game, there have been an abundant amount of times where I'm like, who the fuck is that? Especially those Operation Chimera skins where they were all in like the hazmat suits and Buck looked like Finka and Hibana looked like somebody else. And I'm just like, no, like, make it so that they're just in their base skins. Please, I beg you. I would love for that to be added to the game.
The only issue with that is, like, will that make people want to get skins less? I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing out a thing, but it would be great because Ember Rise is a fucking huge issue. Where
Wind
it's like
Bastion.
all the ones that blend into everything. But yeah, I mean that's a topic. That's a big topic for another time, and I would actually love to like get some call to action, chat. If there was a toggle for turning off all skins, would you want to buy skins less because less people will be able to see your cool shit?
I don't know if this ever actually came to fruition, and I think it was Call of Duty, but I don't want to say it was Call of Duty because I'm not entirely certain. And I don't know if you guys have heard about this. Producer David, in his infinite wisdom, has probably heard of it. There was, I can't remember if it was a patent or if it was proposed, but basically they would, if you bought a new skin, that they would deliberately like throw you into a lobby where you would win more or something like that, so that you would feel like better about buying a gun or a skin or something. Or they would throw you into a lobby where more people had skins to try and like incentivize you to buy it. There's lots of really like insidious stuff that corporations do to try to get you to purchase
we need some of that in Siege. Holy shit.
No, we don't. That is bad. That is bad. You guys are taking the...
buy me a skin. I better
That's like you guys watching American Psycho and being like, Patrick Bateman is a great... I would love to be him. He's an upstanding guy. Like, no, you're taking the wrong message. He's not good. That's the whole point, is he's bad. Like, you don't want companies to be able to force you into positions where you feel incentivized to buy their products. That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I ever get a charm, they should only do it for my charm. Like they
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, functionality. Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, you go ahead. Read it. Functionality and player
Functionality
experience.
and player experience.
All right. Improved test server incentives. Participation has dropped from 10K to under 1K. Didn't they address that in the most recent thing where they're now bringing in like, it's kind of like the test
Yeah.
server, like testing
Well,
grounds or something?
Here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing I've realized. I'm glad they're bringing in testing grounds, and I think it's a much needed thing for them to play around with shit and get real feedback before they start doing it. Because, like I said, shit in Rainbow Six takes a shit ton of time, and I think a lot of players got really fed up with the test server as a player experience because it's like we're testing this shit, we're telling you it's broken, and then it gets released into the game like 2 days later. You know what I'm saying? So, I think like I think we're finally realizing the pipeline of okay, they've been coding this shit like for months. And then we let y'all test it for like a couple weeks. And then we wanted to change within like a week. It's pretty impossible unless it's literally tuning a number like with Denari, right? So I think that's just, I'm glad they're taking the new direction with it. I don't know about too much about like test server incentives or anything. I mean, that does 10K to 1K sounds bad, but it's like all I've ever experienced from the test server is it's a good thing to have so teams can scrim on it in preparation for the next Pro League season. That's it.
It's also worth noting that the purpose of the test server is basically to bug test. Like that's it. It's to catch bugs and then hope that they can be actioned on. But the problem is that Ubisoft are not always the most agile with fixing it. Like a lot of times when you present a bug to Ubisoft, the first thing they say is like, well, we can't reproduce it. So it's not getting fixed until they know how to reproduce it. And I mean, it's like we are basically like beta testers for upcoming content. And this is not just Rainbow Six. There's lots of games that have test servers. So this is not like a Siege thing. This is just like a game thing. I don't like the test server for a variety of reasons, but I don't really care if it exists. I don't think that's like out of all the things that are on here, I wonder why I see stuff like that. And I'm just like why? I think a lot of this list is kind of bloated. Like I agree with a lot of this list in spirit. I would not have attached my name to it, but like I agree with a lot of it in spirit. But something like that, I just read it and I'm like, who is that for? Like, who are you trying? Like, what is the audience for this? Like, I understand like wanting to bring back like hostage and secure area into ranked. I get that. There's like a non-insignificant group of players who would probably love that. But like, I'm looking at this test server thing and I'm like, who benefits from this? Why is this taking up space?
Yeah.
Anybody else here? No? Okay, next one. Reassess movement slowdown. If it's fair but kills player retention, it needs review. I was actually thinking this the other day. I thought the game should be slowed down. I think the game is a little too slow at the moment. I don't know if you guys agree, but I watch the speed of ADSing for certain operators, and I'm like, this is too slow. It looks lethargic. And I would like them to maybe at least speed up ADSing a teensy tiny bit. I don't know if I'm offside here. I don't know if people agree. I don't know if you guys agree. But I do think there is room to maybe speed the game up just a tiny, tiny bit.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think like the big idea of like movement slowdown just ended up not working. Like I think it worked when like you had Blitz ADS'd in like rapid leading and that shit was broken. Aside from that, it hasn't slowed down the gameplay because you see these EU teams flying in the building at Mach speed, right? Like the game plays fast regardless. I think the big thing that actually needs for it to be reworked in order to slow the game down as they envision so it stops being a frag fest is sound. Like I think literally, honest to God, fuck all the sound overhaul shit. If they made footsteps literally like 7 times louder today, like people would think twice about like running up a staircase, rushing into sight. And then it would make walking, like what they do in actual Pro League on land build where sound is really good. Like you see them when they take lurks, they're actually like walking. Like Licky Fack is holding alt, really trying to slow walk so that he doesn't get found out, being intentional as opposed to just sprinting in and bum rushing in. I think if sound was just infinitely louder, it would help the game a lot in terms of slowing down the pace, like the developers intend to, so it's not just brainless Warden mains, Ash mains running and murdering everyone. I think sound is the answer, not movement.
Mint, our good friend Michael Kickstar Stockley used to say this all the fucking time, and he would say it every day that it came up. Why the hell are 3 speeds quieter than 3 armors?
Yeah.
If you are full sprinting, you are going to make noise than the trudging that a 3 armor is making. Like I remember him mentioning this like almost like 8 years ago. He's like, Ash should be so loud. Ash running down the corridor and bank should be like deafeningly loud. And yet she's not. And he's like, just fix that and you fix a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Or you do another thing that he suggested, which was make everybody the same speed. You can make them louder.
Yeah.
Everybody is the same speed, but you can change their volume level just based on whatever metric you want. But if you make everybody the same running speed, you also get rid of a lot of problems. So
yeah,
I think that's less fun though.
I think that's less fun too. I actually like what
Yeah.
they're doing with the testing grounds with testing the speed and armor
Yeah.
changes. So I think that's actually really, really cool.
5 armor, Juggernaut, or whatever the hell
That's
they're
like
called.
that's old Rainbow Six Vegas. If anyone played, like
Yeah.
that's core Rainbow Six, which I actually am a big fan of. I haven't actually thought about the footstep one as much as I complain about that all the time. That's
Mhm.
actually a really good take. I'm actually a big fan of that. The movement slowdown, I also like. I'm not really. I don't care for punishing the movement. Like I was actually a big fan of. This is a hot take. I was actually a big fan of drop shotting and stuff like that, like fast, like quick bolo peeking. Maybe because
No.
I would abuse the hell out of those. I was
No.
very good at leaning and drop shotting, but I don't know. I don't really like games that have a penalty to stuff like that. I don't mind it.
Apparently drop shotting is back. I don't know. I think King George
saw the
tweeted it or
KG.
something. Yeah. Apparently drop
Yeah.
shotting is back. So who knows?
Yeah, but
no,
like,
maybe I'm
okay,
back.
hear me out. Like, imagine
Yeah.
they added back like bolo quick peeking, but then like
Mhm.
you could hear like loud as fuck, like just the rustling of the.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Like you could tell that guy's there,
I
and
like
then
that.
boom, then you
Yeah.
know like your
Yeah.
guy who doesn't even play the game, like it's just a casual 9 to 5 dude comes back from work, just avoids that dude, chucks a nade. Like it makes the game. I don't know. It makes a game like feel
Yeah.
better in every way. Like I think CS is one of those games where it's like the whole thing could be bum rushing or taking it really slow and sneaking, and there's so much suspense when you see a whole team walking or like fast going. Like I think like sprinting should be heard across the entire map. Like I don't know, type shit.
Yeah. I mean, masking sound, push pull theory is going to be even more important, but yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
te biologic he's a trendoyo.
All right. So rework chat moderation system. I agree with that. I think the chat moderation system is butt cheeks. I typed in chat the other day, I typed water is water and it got flagged as offensive. So if anybody here can figure out why water is water
Well,
got
what makes it
flagged
water?
as offensive, I would love to know what the reason is. Because I typed water is wet, totally fine. But water is water, not fine. Also, my partner, and this is not a Siege thing, this is actually Valorant. My partner said the word frag twice. She got comm banned for 3 days because it thought that she said another word that maybe didn't have a particular letter in it. So it auto banned her for slurs. So of course, she immediately responded and was like, what the fuck did I say? That was a slur. And they sent her the chat log. And like a lot of games these days, it's using AI to try to detect what you're saying. I don't want to get into the AI thing. So I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to move on. AI is mostly ass. So like trying to get it to pick up on what people say, she was like, what did I say? And they sent her the chat log. And she's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I was saying the word frag. And then they immediately unbanned her. But it's like, how many people are getting falsely banned for this shit? Because like, how many people are getting pinged for things that they're saying in Siege, either typing in chat or saying over voice? And don't get me wrong, there's a huge toxicity problem in this game. And I cry no tears over toxic rubbish being shown the door. I love when the trash takes itself out. But at the same time, like, the moderation tools are just so goofy and I don't get it. And I have noticed a stark decline in the amount of teammates talking in my games. And I asked my chat the other day when I was streaming, what the fuck is going on? And about a dozen people all said the same thing. People are afraid of getting banned, so they're not talking. That is a problem, because if people are not talking in Siege, people are losing. This whole game is based around communication. I understand wanting to clamp down on toxicity. I get it. I support it. But if it is having a chilling effect on speech in the game and it is preventing people from doing normal comms because they're worried about getting false banned, then you need to throw that whole fucking system in the garbage and you need to start over. Because we cannot try to remove toxicity, but in effect, kill strategic teamwork and communication in this game. It's just not allowed. Can't do that.
Yeah, maybe just like remove the auto ban thing. Like have it flag people, and then like if they get reported, then it like moves up the ladder to like have someone look at it. But I don't. Yeah, maybe remove the fact that it just literally just like auto takes you out. I don't know. I haven't experienced that because I haven't played the game. Lord.
I'm part of that percentage that doesn't type or talk because of it. So
Yeah.
I'm also a problem in the game because of that. Not being strategic,
Hey,
deaf, running
we
around with
duo
Vigil.
queued in ranked and you were chatting.
I was. You're right. Good
It was
times.
a fun day.
Yep.
I guess this rolls into the remover of fine penalties for voice or text chat. I think that's kind of in the same one. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can fix that. Add an option to disable crossplay on PC. I would love this. Like, look, I'm not trying to start a console war here because I used to be a console kid. I used to play FPS games on consoles. Like I used to play shooters. I get it. But I will go into a game and it will just be me and then 4 people on console. None of them are talking. None of them are coordinating. Their aim is not particularly good. And then on the other side, there's 5 people on PC. And it's just like, and then we get fucking rolled. And I'm like, they're not talking. They're not like, it's a different environment, right? Like a lot of people who play on console are sitting on a couch far away from their TV. They're probably playing through the TV speakers. They might be listening to music. Who knows fucking what? Most people that are playing on PC are inches away from their monitor with headphones on. It's just a different world. It's not a console versus PC thing. It's not an aim assist versus anti-aim assist because obviously there's no aim assist in our game. It is just simply I want to play against other PC players and I want other PC players on my team. It's really that simple. I know obviously that it changes around the amount of people who play the game, whatever. It might change with queue times, but I would love to just play with PC players. Please just let me play with PC players.
Agreed.
Yeah, good take.
Good take.
And last but not least, unless there's something else to add, because we still have to get through Operation Tenfold Pursuit.
Yeah, yeah, we gotta get
A continued line of communication to address and tackle other issues, I think, goes back to something that they talked about earlier, which is just having people be present. And I agree with that.
Yep.
Which, for the record, it really irritates me when content creators say stuff like this, because most of them do have connections. Like when pro players vent about shit on Twitter and they're like, well, I don't know who to talk to. Yes, you do. You literally have connections to devs. Devs follow you. Devs DM you. I always get so mad when I see content creators, when I see streamers, when I see pro players say, oh, I don't know who to talk to them. Ubisoft doesn't listen to me. That's just not fucking true. That is not true. That is you being lazy, or that is you being rude to a dev and the dev not responding and then you going, oh, they don't want to talk to me. No. And I heard other casters talking about this when we were in Munich. And they were like, these players claim that they have no connections. They know people. They can easily get in touch with Ubisoft. They just choose not to because, frankly, a lot of times this stuff is more about self-promotion than it is actually about fixing the issues. Or maybe it's a mix of both. And it really chaps my ass. Sorry, I get mad.
No, agreed. No, agreed. But that was a good wrap. Though that was a good, like, I think go through of the document. I think we did a good job of pointing out the goods and the bads. You know, not being too biased. You know, like like there's goods and bads. I think like that's a takeaway from this document that I wanted the community to have. Is like this is an effort to change, but there, you know, like there's things some people want. There's some things some other people want, but a lot of these needs were answered in the operational Tenfold Pursuit reveal, in the little panel, first of all, or just overall, but most of them in the game mode issues in the little panel before they actually did the reveal of the season. Joshua Mills came up on stage, said, fuck cheaters, first of all, fuck them, right? Went viral moment on that. Beautiful take. I love that. Announced, you know, a lot of great things. More regular shield guard updates. That was during the reveal. Sorry, that wasn't the prelude before. But they also announced a top of the ladder queue, right? Top ranked queue. Boom, great. They know that we want, you know,
like better experience in ranked. So they are focusing on that. That's good. This is why
that's where the
I'm
cheaters
starting
are.
to say like Siege might be safe. They're starting to focus on the right things. 1v1 queues. They're gonna get added at some point. I don't know when, but they're gonna get added. Thatcher rework, amazing. Now, motherfucker now shoots the goddamn it, the thingy, which is great. But a big point to the balancing philosophy that we just talked about in the Save Siege discussion is that all the hard breacher stuff was great quality of life changes that all make them more powerful and more enjoyable. Mav not needing to reload his torch, Hibana not needing to, cock the gun, Thermite getting 3 charges. Like this is all just adding, buffing, etc. And I think that's great.
I think what it sounds like you're saying, Fett, is that Ubisoft are listening. And if you've ever wondered how you could listen, why don't I introduce you to our good friends over at Raycon, our third and certainly not least sponsor of this episode. And this message is, of course, sponsored by Raycon. So, you want headphones? You want earbuds? Keep your ears open and your holiday playlists rolling with Raycon's essential open earbuds. These open earbuds let you stay connected to your surroundings while enjoying your favorite music, podcasts, or calls. Perfect for a jog, commute, or just kicking back. And this Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you can save up to 30% on all Raycon audio products. Raycon's essential open earbuds keep your ears open while still delivering crystal clear sound. They sit just outside your ear canal, so you can stay tuned into traffic, coworkers, or whatever's happening around you without losing out on music or podcast quality. They're lightweight and they're all day comfortable. They never feel bulky, and the secure fit means they stay put, whether you're at the gym, out on a walk, or grinding through your to-do list. But here's the kicker. Raycon delivers the same premium audio quality as the big brands, but at half the price. Add in 3 million happy customers and a 30-day happiness guarantee, and there's zero reason to overpay. I have yet to use Raycon products because I'm waiting on mine to get delivered, but when they do, I will be trying them out immediately, and I'll give you my feedback, hopefully on the next episode. Black Friday is around the corner, and Raycon audio products are up to 30% off site-wide. From everyday essentials to the latest releases, it's the perfect time to upgrade your sound or get ahead on gifting. These early deals won't last long, so shop now before they're gone. Go to buyraycon.com/6open. That's SIX open, not the letter or the number 6. I suppose the letter 6 also works here. You can just type SIXOPEN to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. All right, now let's transition into Operation Tenfold Pursuit, because we are way over time, and that is okay because people love this shit. So that is fine. We will give you more, and then next week you get hopefully M80 if they all respond. Let's start right away with Thatcher, obviously, because it's the big one. Thatcher getting changes. No more EMP grenades. He now has an EMP shoulder launch cannon that kind of functions like IQ. I think it's really unique. Shoots bursts, disables the gadget for 15 seconds. It also reveals what they are if you don't know what they are. I like this change, but I will say I don't understand why Thatcher got this. This should be for IQ. I think there is a lot of value in having kind of brain dead early ops like Thatcher, like Sledge, like Rook. I think those ops are great. I don't think they need to get too complex. I don't understand why they took a very beginner-friendly operator who is almost impossible to fuck up and gave him a shoulder cannon. And now, if you are a new player and you try to play Thatcher, there is a higher likelihood that you will fuck up while playing him. I would have liked to have seen this go to IQ instead of going to Thatcher. I don't really understand why they did it, other than maybe they just think Thatcher is a more popular operator. I don't know. I like the gadget and I like the rework. I don't like that it went to the operator it did. Give it to IQ, and I honestly would have said 10 out of 10, no notes. But because it's going to Thatcher, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because I think there is beauty in simplicity. And I think Thatcher was as simple as they come. And I don't like that I don't like that they got rid of that. I don't like that they made House more complex for no reason. I think sometimes you just need to be a little bit easy. And Thatcher was easy, and he will be less easy.
Yeah, I don't go ahead, man. Sorry.
No, I think that's a really good take. That it's good to have easy ops. I don't want to say they're looking at the pick rate delta. I definitely don't want to say that. But people don't like to take Thatcher. They would much rather take EMP grenades on more fun operators like Grim, Capitao, etc. People do not like taking Thatcher. Thatcher right now is kind of a niche use based on like, oh, they have a Cade and no tube. You just bring a Thatcher and double EMP and boom, wall open. Like that was the best case for him. So I don't want to go too much into the ease, but I want to go into the fun of it because I've been testing it a little bit on the in test server, and it is a ton of fun to use. Like you said, you're able to track operators basically through the wall at this point now because we can see who's moving around down there. Big use. I mean, I think it was Royal Penguin that has a real. I mean, there was a couple creators that put a video out there, but I think he's the one I'm remembering right now. We're like Bank Basement. You could literally just sit there and shoot smokes and C4s out of the air to stop default. You just ban like Chonka, Goyo, or whatever, and you just like so it's gonna be really, really good for execute ops or like for an execute. Finding a vigil and being able to just thatch. I really love the fact that it's a beam rifle, basically. You could sit on the roof in combo with another operator, whatever, and you can find vigil. You can shoot him through the ceiling and then Deimos track the guy. Or even Scopos. Dream didn't know this interaction existed, so maybe you guys don't either, but you can EMP Scopos and he's blind. His screen is black with Siege X, so I don't know. He didn't know that. Pro player, by the way. But anyway, you could. So Thatcher's kind of crazy. I think also in the meta, being able to just like again, now you can sit on the roof and just zap things for people to walk, like the EU meta, like Seeker, like G2. These guys now they're just gonna have a guy just boom, there's the Banshee gone, just walk for free now, and yeah, so it's gonna be pretty scary to go against. But I like the take that it is probably could have just been another operator. I actually don't hate that take.
I don't know if you saw this just very quickly, Fett, but somebody went to throw a nitro cell and it got EMP'd while it was being thrown and it could not detonate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's
We
just
figured that
fucking
all
cool. I love the idea of the op.
Yeah,
Fine.
no, it's great. No, it was so funny because I was literally like walking, like we were in the car ride to like the creator reveal, and like I was like, you know what would be crazy? Like I was like, gun to my head, if they asked me to make an operator right now, I would do that one IQ like I would do that one IQ rework that someone suggested where the IQ could disable one gadget at a time with their scanner. And then we
Mhm.
pull up and it's that. And I was like, oh shit. Because I think that's what the game needs. Honest to God, I think that is like that's the only thing. Like I was just saying like how hard is it to design ops for Siege? Because like gun to my head, I literally could not think of any opera ideas besides that one. And that was the one. It's what the game needs. It's gonna be fucking great. I think the main usage it's so rad, first of all. And like you said, like the main usages for it are going to be like, you know, getting rid of wall denial per usual, but then getting rid of win cons, right? Like pulse, like disabling a pulse C4 from underneath, disabling a soulless playing win con from underneath. These really late round C4 smoke pulse win cons can get disabled in the game. That's going to be super sick. And then shooting C4s out of midair, like you said, super, super sick. For lurks walking through, super, super sick. Or like if someone's sitting on an ADS shield setup and like you just want to like nuke them out of the sky high, boom, shoot them, super, super sick. And I really love that it's like one of those gadgets that just like exponentially increase like the more ball knowledge you have. Because like me and Mint, we could look at a wall and tell you exactly which dots or which gadgets. The new player won't be able to do that, right? It'll overwhelm them, but that's super, super sick. That's super, super cool. In terms of competitive side, I think it's definitely gonna be a pretty big permaban because it's a pretty big game changer. You typically see operators get permaban when they change the way the round works, right? So teams like M80 love that late round win con where they play C4 underneath on sides with soft floor or pulse underneath with sides with soft floor. Love that. They love that, right? They love that maestro last second. That's gonna change their complete game plan. So they're probably gonna keep it banned 100% of the time, much like how Solus introduced literally removed droning and prep phase from the game. Right, like that just wasn't a thing anymore when she was first introduced, and that's why teams that really wanted to get in the building fast needed those drones in the prep phase to get those gaps and permaban the fuck out of Solus. So I think that's how it'll play out competitive wise, but I love it, man. Great, beautiful.
I think it also gets rid of, at least for me, 3 really annoying things to play as an attacker. The Cade 2 meta, I got to completely test it, but I think the timing now, I think it actually counters the Cade 2 meta.
Okay.
Because, they changed the timing of something reactivating or something like that. So I got to double check that, but I think that's
How
going
long
to
were
help with that.
Thatcher's EMPs before? They weren't 15 seconds, right? It was 10 seconds.
No, it was pretty short, and now it's pretty long. Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's oh my god, we were doing the math on stream, but it's something with the tubes where like you're really only going to be able to tube like once.
No, apparently it was 15 seconds. It used to be 10. It was increased to 15.
Yeah, which I think was in response to Tube, because Tube was 12,
Yeah.
reduced to
Yeah.
8 now, I'm pretty sure, but Tube was 12, and they wanted it to be able to so you could just like keep Thatchering a Tube K and like it would work.
Right. Because it's an annoying mechanic for like non-comp people. Like if you're playing solo, like you ain't getting a wall open if it's Cade tube, which Cade's a typical ban. Another thing that's annoying is the Denari setup. Some people got some crazy tech. Thatcher just disables all of that, so that's like, I mean, it was already doing that, but it's super free now. And then Clash, just man, do I love just seeing a Clash just come at me and I'm Thatcher and just boop. All right, see you later, buddy. You're dead. Because that's so annoying to play against.
Anything else to add on Thatcher before we move on to, let's do Fortress rework actually next.
Yes.
Dub.
Fett, you and I show match casted it. I think
Yes.
I think it looks great. I think there's enough familiarity there that it still evokes the same vibes that Fortress did, but it is condensed. It doesn't seem to suffer from roomitis the way it used to. I like that the courtyard is now technically the exterior. So for people who don't know, there was like that inner courtyard that is like effectively outdoors, but was still indoors. Now it is fully outdoors. So defenders, if they go into the courtyard, they're detected because it is technically outdoors. So it does make it trickier to defend. It also means that if you're an attacker, you don't need to dead drop into the middle of that courtyard and worry about 9 doorways and 16 windows. You don't have to do that anymore. It's going to be much easier for you to attack as an attacker. I think that's great. I think one of the biggest challenges on Fortress was how hard it could be to attack and how many goddamn rooms there were. I think they cut off lines of sight. I think they shortened some areas. Bomb sites look great. I am a fan based on what I've seen. But you guys have tested it. I have not.
I think it's great. I think like you said, the roomitis, I think it goes against that. I think it keeps its identity. It keeping the unique rooms unique. I think in Siege is such a beautiful part of maps, and I think they kept the exact feel. And I really love that they're making it attacker sided. Like, okay, in my head it's attacker sided. Obviously, it didn't play out that way in the show match, but I think it's attacker sided because of how
I'm
many
with you,
more
Fett.
avenues of interest. Yeah, and I love that because I think like the map pool does need more border chalets.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
think we've been like
Yeah.
hit with like layer ended up being actually pretty even, which was pretty surprising, like given how fucking massive it was. But like we've been hit with too many consulates, night havens, skyscrapers, theme parks. You know, I think we're a bit part of that. I think like attacker sided is beautiful, is great, love it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. So I played it probably like, I don't know, like 12 or so times right now. We've been doing like 10 mans on it, just trying to learn the map. It's actually really easy to learn compared to some other maps. So, and and I didn't really play the old Fortress.
Well, you already know it.
No, I didn't play the old Fortress. I did
Never.
No,
I like
it's
once
a really
or twice.
intuitive map. I
like
think
once
actually.
or twice, but I think it's actually exactly like Fett's saying. Like we picked up on it pretty fast. I think it's definitely going to be attacker side. This is my take as well. I think it's going to be attacker side. At the top 2 sites, there's one that's really good. It's that command site. That command site is still really good. That used to be the best site. Then it goes to a dorms, which I think is a very easy site to surround. That's right now looking like the second best site, but like I do think it's still kind of attacker side because there's a lot of options
you gotta
on
put
that
a
site,
mirror
which is
that
cool.
looks outside, Doug, and then extend to like the scaffold under the scaffold. You gotta
Yeah,
make
but
it
if you
rotate
extend
under-
too much, you're right though with the extension. Yes, with the rotate.
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
I think you at least have to contest. I think you have to
Yes.
contest. You cannot bunker on the site or you will get surrounded.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So definitely I think teams are kind of figuring that out. Where it gets tricky and why I think it's attacker sided is the tertiary sites are rough. And I don't want to call them awful. I know there was a take on Twitter where that Hammam fountain site, it might be the worst site in Siege. It is really bad. It is really bad. And I wish, we're up on the stairs in Fountain or in the Hammam room, there's like a window and the shower wall that opens up, the double wall. You can technically plant up top the stairs. I think that needs to change personally because it's so easy to just jump in a window and plant. And like the window is up top, you could just Candela down and like it's kind of a boring execute and attack. It's I wish they would change that and you actually had to go in the bomb site a little bit more. I don't know if that would 100% solve it. But that site's really bad. And then the cafeteria site, I'm still working on, and I think it's the 3rd best site, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't think top floor is really that good because the vert for that site's not really that good. But either way, I think it's attacker side, but I do think it's really easy to kind of figure out, and I'm enjoying on it. I also think it's kind of vibrant. I don't know if this is a hot take. I know it's a desert
No,
map.
it's great. Yeah,
But I think it's vibrant still. If you look around your surroundings, I like the theming of it. And I like the amount of entries, which is why maps are fun to play. I don't want to be stuck on the old fortress with the courtyard or scaffolding dropping down. I got
Yeah.
So you love
plenty of
Outback
entries
then?
now. Hate. I don't want to
Well,
say
you
hate.
don't, you don't like,
I
you
don't
don't
wanna
like a
say
map
hate.
with 2 doors?
I don't want to say, hey, I do wish I had a lot more. Yeah. I like the theming of Outback down under, for, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like 2 doors. I think there's a lot of avenues to go on Fortress. And again, I could play that map maybe because it's brand new. I mean, I feel like I can play it for another like 2 weeks straight and not play another map. It's that fun right now.
So I wanted to very quickly just ask, when you say it's the worst site in Siege,
Okay.
that's presumably that's now, right? Because I remember when Chalet came out and everybody
Yeah.
was like, the downstairs is the best bomb site in the entire map. Or when Cafe came out, they were like, well, Cocktail first floor is the best bomb site. Or they
Right.
said,
Right.
when Coastline was in, was it Bank? It was like open area is really shit. And then they said like, oh, Coastline, that bedroom theater bomb site was the best. And Hookah was really terrible. And
Right.
then after a couple months, all of those changed, right? So it's like, do you think that is going to at some point get figured out where we're going to go, oh shit, this is actually a good bomb site? Do you think that teams are just going to have to adapt to playing it differently? Or do you actually think that
Yeah.
the bones of the site are just so bad that it's going to be bad forever?
So I was trying to be careful with my wording there because
Of course.
I'm having a lot of fun playing the map and I'm trying to figure it out because I do think there's options. I used to play, for anyone that watched Flipside, I would play Kitchen Bakery on Old Cafe when no one did. Like, there's ways to play the site
Mhm.
for sure, but it's very like niche at the moment. And I just think it's just got to be explored. But as far as the skeleton, I'm never a fan of maps where you can just open a wall or just jump in a window and plant immediately. And I know there are still a couple of those in pro play, but I'm not a fan of that. I feel like you at least got to take some space on a bomb site. So again, I do wish they would change where that bomb's located. You can't plant top of the stairs in that hammam room. That's a personal change, but yeah, it'll get figured out. I'm sure someone's gonna come up with something.
Yeah. I mean, I personally I love it. I think things will get figured out, like you said. I think like people will eventually figure it out. And I just really love how intuitive the map feels. Like it's like you walk like obviously like I played it, play tested it, and was like, yeah, I don't remember this being here. And I was like,
Mhm.
hold on. That makes a lot of sense. Like, like walk-in front door on your right side is that entry into that room that goes next to like the site. That makes a shit ton of sense. Walk down the scaffolding, there's the breach to command, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Like a lot of these changes make a lot of sense. It's very, very intuitive, and there's a lot of threats, and I think that's great. I think it's, I don't know, I love it. I like Mint said, seems like a whole lot of fun. Seems really simple to pick up. And we actually had a really interesting conversation on me and Royal Penguin that like he was saying like, yo, he was having a little bit of constant delusion and was like, yo, can we bring back Old House because that's a really good map for new players. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, we're reworking all these maps to be competitive and viable, but right not. But like, dude, what if there's like a tier system almost to Siege map where it's like there's maps that are just easier to grasp for new players, and then maps that are more fun for more complex players. And maybe that's how Siege should be. Like when I was getting into Siege, I fucking loved House and Coastline because they were tiny, and it made a lot of fucking sense to me. And I feel like I get a sort of little bit of that vibe with Fortress, where it's like, yeah, this makes sense to me. Like I could walk in this room and figure out that this room's next to this room within a play or two, and then make a play off that within one time of playing the map. I went like 0-12 that first map of the playtest, and the next one I was top fragging over Bolo's ass. I shit on Bolo. I outperformed Bolo on the whole thing. Yeah,
Ooh, get
put that
on,
in.
Bolo.
Put that in.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's touting his bona fides here. On the house topic, based on what I said on Thatcher earlier, what I'm about to say is not going to surprise you. I think there's a lot of value in smaller maps that allow for that onboarding. I do not understand why they redid house. I just don't get it. Who's it for? You know, like I usually try to put myself in their shoes and say like, okay, like I can get this. Like the favela rework, I think it was a swing and a miss, but they very clearly wanted to modernize easily one of the worst maps in the game that has so many structural issues. And they're like, we're going to try to make this competitive. I think they missed the mark, but I think they gave it a good try. And I do think, objectively speaking, it's a much better map. And I don't think favela was a map that should have stayed the way it was. I remember the first few times I ever played that map, I had no idea where anything was. All the exterior walls, it felt like two fucking maps. Like, no. I like the changes they made to favela, but why change house? That house map was, to me, that was Siege. You took the most iconic map in my eyes and you butchered it. You made it so it's still not very good in casual. It's nowhere near good enough for ranked. You got rid of a small map that was easy to learn. Like, what are we doing here? And I feel like the same way with Thatcher. It's just like, it's okay to have operators that are simple. It's okay to have a couple maps that are simple. Like Plane, don't touch it. Plane is fine. Leave Plane the way it is. It's a relatively simple map that's very linear. People can learn it really quickly. Perfect. Like, I don't understand why they want to rework some of these maps the way they do. Like, when you've got a map like Coastline, that could very easily be brought up to code. When you look at a map like Villa, that could be brought up to code. I still think Canal and Outback are salvageable as well. I think Emerald Plains is a better map than people give it credit for. Now we've got a Fortress rework. Like, there's so many maps here that you can do stuff with. Stop touching the maps that are casual. Leave them. Like, just leave the casual maps the way they are.
Yep.
Agreed.
Anyway.
Good point.
Well,
Do we want to talk about Fortress more, or do we want to keep moving on?
Move.
I think we move on to.
We have done something that we have never done on 6on6 before. On the East Coast, it is after midnight. This is the first episode that is now straddling 2 days.
Oh, straddling.
wow.
Look at us go. We might have been behind because of some tech issues, but that's okay. It'll all get fixed in post. That's why you have an insatiable lust for producer David.
Yes.
All right, what next is there to talk about? I guess the hard breach one, Fett, you already touched on it. The Maverick Torch no longer reloads. It just goes. Hibana also no longer reloads her gadget. She just can go and fire.
I love that.
I think both those changes are great. I know Macy J actually fielded that Hibana change years ago. I think it's a no-brainer. I think all of these are good. The other change that wasn't noted, Hibana pellets detonate faster now.
Mhm.
From 4 seconds down to 3 seconds, I think it is. That is going to make bandit tricking really tricky. And I
Plus
also,
power with
I
ace, I
also
think,
think
right?
it escapes the Kaid shuffle too.
Yeah. I was gonna say at least on par with ace, because like before you would take
Yeah.
ace to counter the bandit, but yeah, now
Yeah.
you can maybe do it with Hibana. I think the other thing with the kind of on track with that is like with the Mav torching or whatever, like they changed the way the walls work, the wall mechanics. That you have to open the whole thing, so you can still Maverick trick, but that means no more Hibana tricking. Thank God, no more
Yeah.
Hibana tricking.
Which is
I
something
hate
else we
it.
talked about, right? We said like if these unintended consequences are in the game, like get rid of them and figure out other ways to balance them.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I think that's all just really, really great. Before I go on to the next topic I want to talk about, I want to bring up like a question for you guys. I think one unaddressed balancing change. Now that we're talking about making everyone fun, on the topic of making everyone fun, I know we said no to scopes. What do we think about secondary shotguns on defense? Because I know like a lot of pros had frustrations. At least Pambazoo had frustration with like removing the secondary shotgun from Legion and Fenrir, and then as a result, everyone else with secondary hold capabilities became infinitely more powerful. Right? What do we think of that? Because I actually think Pambazoo, like what he said, has a bit of potential. That like if you give everyone the capability of making setups on defense, or like a lot of people, it could be sick.
What do we think of that? I'm going to answer my own question. Here's what I think.
So wait,
ahead,
Fett,
go
are you saying then like wait, you agree with Pampa? Sorry.
No, I'm saying like I don't agree with Pamba right now,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I see like the potential of fun in it. You know, for like a new player, like
Yeah.
Siege isn't a game where like we just bunker up anymore. Siege is a game where like you make a shit ton of line of sights, you create like a really creative mirror strats. Like your boy Roy goes into the castle and makes everything like a crazy castle room. Like, you know, like I think we're past the point of like people have like really hard set roles on what setup is, and like we just want like crazy modular setups. And I think like at least on the casual side, and like I don't know, I think it has potential for fun. You know, I don't see it being balanced or good for comp, but
Yeah.
realistically, it could be fun. It could be fun. It could be
Right.
the future. You know.
I think I could agree with you on that on the casual point.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of suck when you want to make a rotate and you're all by yourself and your teammate ain't making you a rotate and you're like, God dang it, I want to rotate here. I get that. Yeah, balance thing would be like crazy though. I'm just thinking like we're gonna go right back to running Fed rear Legion every time. Like it, I do because I actually do like the fact that they move ACOGs around or they move the secondary shotties around to kind of change meta. I actually disagreed with Rob's point. I actually like that they do that, and I do think that I think Thorn should have a secondary shotgun because then Thorn would get played, and that's all Thorn needs. To be honest, Thorn would be just fine with secondary
A
shotgun.
C75 is a great gun.
No, but literally, like you got a shield, a shotgun, what is it? 3 traps. I don't play that often.
The Uzi's a good gun too.
And the Uzi's a good gun. Like that. That's all Thorn needs, and that's just like if everyone had a shotgun, I'm never gonna run Thorn ever. So, but I do agree to your point, the casual. If maybe we found ways to buff things and make things fun, I guess, sure.
Didn't I say ages ago that like what if we gave every single defender a secondary shotgun like a bailiff or some shit like that just to do site rotation and stuff?
Yeah, that's
Did I say that on the show before?
That's what he's. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if every defender had like a secondary shotgun?
No. I'm saying like I've already been on record with this before. Like I think it would be Helby actually. Helby mentioned this ages and ages and ages ago. This was back when Mute got the SMG-11 because people forget Mute didn't used to have the SMG-11, so you had to run the MP5K because you're not going to run a shotgun and a pistol on the Mute.
Yeah.
When Mute got the SMG-11, suddenly it was like, oh, you're playing one of the SAS operators, you're on site duty, and it was just like. Helby basically said like a good way to break smoke and Mute being brought every single round is to like give everybody the bailiff or something like that. That does like no damage, but at least helps with site construction. And I will tell you, there's lots of times where it's like, I want to play Valkyrie, but I'm not bringing impacts. I'm bringing a Nitro cell. So it's like, or if I want to play Legion, how the fuck am I supposed to do site setup? And it's like in rank, that's a huge point of frustration. Because it's like I'll pick like a Legion or a Valkyrie and I'll spawn in and I'll be like, okay, we need this open up. We need this opened up. And none of my teammates say a word. Nobody helps. And then just rotates don't get opened up. And I'm like, I don't want to just play shotguns every round.
Yeah. I actually I just came up with an idea. Like, what if there was, you know how Denari shotguns kind of like poo-poo mega shit? Like, not really mega shit if you know how to use it correctly, but it's like a bit more frustrating to make holes with.
Yeah.
What if we also let like revolvers and deagles make like even shittier holes? So like realistically in a prep phase, if you brought Valk, you can make one rotate with the deagle. If you try like Deimos' shotgun or pistol. You know Deimos' pistol can make rotates? If you like really fucking tried your heart out, you can make a rotate. And pros do make Deimos rotates with the fucking pistol. That'd be a good way to like, you know, like
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think
I think that's a great idea.
Ubisoft, if you're listening, we might be cooking. Anyways,
UB watches our show. I think I talked about this before we went live. I spoke with a UB dev and they mentioned that every now and then they'll walk like the UB Montreal floors and they'll see people having it up on their monitors. And I was like, I was like a proud father. I was like, no way. So they do watch our show. I think that is a terrific idea, by the way. Just the same way that they did that on Attack with like DMRs. Like now DMRs can open up hatches. Right? Like, I don't think that nerfed Sledge. I don't think that nerfed Breaches. Like, I think that just opened up other ways to use that. And if you've got the revolver like the Frenchmen do, like if you've got the Deagle, if you've got like the Kaid Nomad pistol, like I think that's great. I think those strong high caliber guns making rotates not easily because then you still have like the bailiff and the super shorty and the like the Spanish secondary shotgun that I always forgot the name of, the ITA I think it is. Like if you allow like the revolver and stuff like that, a lot of these sidearms, let's be honest, are kind of shit. Like I think it can really open up skill making potential, and I think you can raise the skill ceiling. I think that's a great idea, Fett.
Yay!
Kyle, do you disagree? Kyle's gonna be like, this fucking garbage.
Am I lagging? Everyone is blurry, man. Everyone's robots. I don't know what's going on.
You're okay on our end. You look great to me. Producer
Oh.
David, can we get a wellness check on Mint's
People are
internet?
starting to lag a little bit for me, but it's all good.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm back now anyway. I can agree with that. I don't think it's that bad because like, why are there? What would happen though? Could they open up hatches?
I think so. You can open it with a Deimos pistol, right? You can open it with
Exactly.
hatches,
So are we okay with opening up hatches with pistols then?
I'm fine with that if you need a lot. Like you shouldn't be able to like 3-shot it.
yeah.
But like realistically, why can't a Desert Eagle open up a hatch or a wall?
Yeah, it's a fucking 50 caliber. Yeah, it's a fucking
Realistically, where's my realism crowd when we need them?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, speaking of brilliant ideas, the next big change I want to talk about is T-Hunt. It's back.
It is back.
T-Hunt's back. Holy shit. Bolo was real happy with that one. I remember he like remembered all the 400,000 view TikToks that he would just freebies, you know? Free money. He would just go on a T-Hunt, start flicking on dudes, free fucking money. Now it's all back. That market's back. I don't know about you guys. You seem pretty happy about it. I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy about it. But back in my day, we had T-Hunt, and we were begging for a shooting range and deathmatch in the game. And we got shooting range and deathmatch in the game, and then they took away T-Hunt. And now we're like, we got these cool tools that we've been asking years for, and now I want my T-Hunt back. So like, of course I'm all for it. Now we have all three of them. Great. That's fantastic. We got all three.
There's a mini map too, by the way. So it's been added to a couple different versus AI game modes, which means that I'll be seeing it in ranked. Thank you for laughing at that. It also says they're adding bot teammates, and I was like, that's been my experience for the last 8 years. So I mean, like, so what do you mean they're just adding them?
Man, everybody in Twitch chat with that joke.
I like the mini map a lot, and I would love to see if there's a way for them to iterate on it to have it in the regular game, because one of the sore spots from a viewership perspective has been conceptualizing where people are. And I'm going to peel back the curtain here. It has been a very deliberate decision to not show top down for the esport. This is something that the producers and Ubisoft and a whole bunch of parties don't love. They want the action to stay first person as much as possible. It is a decision that I disagree vehemently with, but ultimately I'm not the one running the esport, so I don't get any say on it. And I will tell you that it is split among talent as to whether they like it or not. So if we're not able to show top down, a mini map is not, it's not great, but it's a replacement, right? Like it's suitable, I guess. It's just, it's a problem when it's multiple floors. And it also doesn't necessarily show that if somebody's on that top floor where they're looking. Like somebody could be on the top floor, as we saw, I think it was Chalet, or was it Cafe, or one of the maps at the Major. Somebody was on the top floor and they got to kill 2 floors below through kill holes that have been made by them. And it's like, that shit's cool, but like a mini map's not going to show that.
Yeah.
So I do like a mini map. I don't know if they can make it work for everything else, but I think it's a cool start, and I hope that they're able to make it more relevant.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't want to overtouch the point though with the bots on maps, because new player playlist, like I feel like that is huge. Our game is so confusing, and we want new people to play the game. But how do you like play the game? Like the people, I'm getting a ton of people that message me, or I have found this community that I didn't even know existed, where it's people that only play casual and they don't want to play ranked because they're scared to queue into ranked. They're scared because they don't know the setups. They're scared that people are going to be toxic to them. They're scared because they don't play multiplayer games, and they don't want to play like PvP. So like, this is actually like, it's something that people of our rank and people that have been playing the game a long time, we're going to overlook. But I actually do think this is huge to be able to actually play like regular maps and play against bots on those maps, to be able to learn them before you go into ranked. Now you can like find your drone holes and like find your routes and everything like that. Give people the confidence to go and queue into ranked, because again, it's not for everybody. And then the mini map to like explore. I think these are like huge changes that we needed for the game.
Yeah.
I want to say very quickly for people who are afraid of playing like competitive and stuff like that, ranked is the best place to go because it will very quickly determine your skill level and it will match you up against other people. If you really are so terrible that it looks like you don't have wrists, I promise you there are many wristless kin that play this game, and you will be matched with them very quickly. If you are really that dog shit at this game, they will find the rest of the dog shit, they will pile you high, and they will throw you into the trenches. Like, we do have skill-based matchmaking. It's called ranked. So play it.
Yeah. I mean,
They would. Yeah, I need more people in my rank, so please.
yeah,
What rank
I
are
think-
we again? We were the same. We were similar ranks.
I was like a silver, man.
We were brutal, dude.
And
Those were some real. Those games were grueling. Fett's over here going to school, and you and I are in the fucking trenches to 150 viewers, losing our minds.
I'm just shitting a little bit. Parker, I was gonna call to action on something you said before Mint said something, and now I completely fucking forgot. What did you say?
Man.
Probably was it T Hunt or the mini map or
Oh no! Top down view. Call to action, esports
Yeah.
viewers. Would you like more top down view?
yeah.
Like before an execute, during an execute, during a cool play, overall? What do you want? Because like we don't fucking know. We just shoot the shit, right? Like, would you like a League of Legends viewing experience? Because I think League of Legends is such a fucking complex game, but it has that inherent top down view, and thus you can kind of fucking tell what's going on, right? Siege plays like a MOBA. Like genuinely speaking, the pros will tell. Like Brazilian pros literally say Siege plays like a MOBA, and they philosophize the game as such. Like it plays like a MOBA. Like push pull is literally just like split pushing in League of Legends. Like quite literally. So what would you like? Call to action on that. Second thing, how did y'all learn Siege when you started out? What helped you the most? Because I remember my fucking experience. It felt like a fucking horror game to me. Okay, I was plunged into that shit. First round, I was getting like the first round of Siege I played. I vividly remember I was getting Twitch droned. Like, and I was like, why the fuck am I getting shocked, dude? And it's like, I'm like, when the music starts playing, when it's 15 seconds left, the fucking bass shit, and like, oh my god. Like, it felt like a horror game. And I remember, like, Siege onboarding for me literally was just getting plunged into the deep depths. And, like, learning the game was like memorizing this room's next to this room. Okay, and then this room's above this room. Okay, and then this room, and then, like, slowly but surely. I don't have anything to say about the onboarding process because mine was rough in the early days. Or in White Noise at least. I don't remember how you guys got into Siege. How the fuck that was for y'all, but for me, it was
I was
fucking,
the head of the game. I
it
was
was
playing
fucking
since
tough.
beta, shitting on everybody.
He was
so
born in it, shaped by it, molded by it.
Holy
I was the
shit.
guy yelling like I still am. Stop reinforcing that.
Yeah.
Like
I-
border, my ranked teammates still reinforce the opposite 90 wall, and it drives me insane.
I think for all new players, and this will be unpopular, there are a lot of games that are complex that I hop into that I need to do training and it takes a long time and it irritates the shit out of me. But I think our game could benefit from that. I don't think you should be able to just pick up Siege and just immediately go into games. I think there should be like a pretty long process of like, here are ways to play this game. Here's how to go about it. And one thing that I think would be a really amazing change is grouping together operators by their role. So like, I've seen mock-ups of it before, and I know that like informally they have like a system like that, but like support ops, breachers, like hard breachers or something like that, like info ops, like just shit like that where it's like they're packed together and then it'll be like, pick one of these pick Thermite from the hard breachers. Thermite and Hibana and blah, blah, blah. Hard breachers are excellent at opening up like reinforced walls, blah, blah. And then it shows like a short video of like a defender reinforcing a wall. And then it cuts to you and it's like, run up and put your exothermic charge on this wall. Like shit like that takes some time, I think would go so far in helping players. And then just giving them a couple of those operators right off the rip. League's onboarding is fucking brutal because League is a hard game, but their onboarding makes it so much easier to understand. Because if you just try to go into League and play it, you're going to get annihilated. And it's the same with Rainbow Six. You have to learn the operators. You have to learn the maps. God forbid you end up in a queue where you can play ranked or hostage, or where you can play secure area or hostage or regular. And it's just like how do you figure all this out? how do you get to know the maps? You play a map for, like, let's say you play a map for 12 minutes and then the game is over and you don't see that map again for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, that's brutal. So I think forcing new players to go through a pretty lengthy tutorial outlining roles and the way things work and the way drones work, like, you know, go and use your drone. Like, the drone is one of the best tools available to give you information. Like, use it for yourself or use it to help your teammates gain information. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, stuff like that, I think would go a long way. And I've told, not like I'm some savior and I need to do this, but I've told Ubisoft 1,000 times, I will happily help you do like a tutorial system where I can lend my voice or I can help you figure it out. But like, there needs to be better onboarding because you're going to farm like a bot if you don't know it. How did I learn, by the way? I learned by watching Macy J and Serenity's videos. I literally used to watch Serenity and Macy J's videos over and over and over again, watching them play certain operators, watching how they use the gadgets, watching how they go about certain maps. And I would literally then try that in my next game. That's how I learned the game.
Dude. Now that you mentioned League of Legends onboarding system, I think now that the bot mode makes perfect sense. Because before I was like, what the fuck is a bot mode going to do for these people? League of Legends literally forces you to play against bots as like the very first thing you do. And then during that bot game, it's like, kill a minion, use your Q, break a tower. Dude, it makes sense now. Yeah, that's great. Bot mode is great. Yeah.
I think there's a lot they could do to better onboard players, but I don't know why they're not doing it. Maybe they just think that people learn better on their own. I'm not sure, but I think there are ample opportunities for like a robust tutorial and like instructive game mode. And I think it would really help them a lot.
Yeah, and they should force them to play it. Like I think right now, I don't know how it is when you get an account, but maybe it's
that's a
too
great point. I
often.
have no idea either.
I think they should force, if they don't already, they should force them to play the one that like makes you try out your buttons, and then the one that like makes you try to win around against bots. And they should force you to do it, type shit.
They should put 5 of me in the game, and then it would be really easy for the new players to win
Yes.
against
They're
me.
joking. No, Parker's like a champ
Yeah.
1.
Top 500. Guys, by the
No
way,
universe.
I've never played League.
Oh.
No idea
All
what you're
right.
talking about here.
We talk about League later. By the way, if you play League of Legends, they have a new winter map in the game. It's really, really cool. Also, fun fact, the last time our video got uploaded, it for some reason got auto put under League of Legends. I have no fucking idea why. We were in the League of Legends category for like the first day our most recent video was up. I don't know. It was very bizarre.
We are League of Legends.
New weapon, the PMR 90A2. It's a fun DMR. It's being given to Thatcher. It's being given to Nook. It's being given to Hibana, and it's being given to Capitao. The one operator that really stands out for me there is Nook. That's going to be fucking crazy, right? Like, people have been clamoring for Nook to get something that's not an SMG for eternity, and now she's got one. It'll be interesting to see how it works. I don't know if either of you have tried it. It looks like a cool gun. It looks like the FAL from Call of Duty.
Yep.
It's just a DMR in the DMR meta. I mean, it's fucking broken. King George was fucking drop shotting people with it from 17,000 miles away. Like, I mean, like, it's just gonna be broken. Like, I don't know. But I do think like DMR meta is something that goes a little bit more under the radar than like LMG meta. But like to a pro player, or just to a pro player, it's basically like, imagine like you're during Finca LMG, Capital LMG, Fuse LMG, like Zofia LMG, and then Rainbow Six was like, let's add a new LMG and give it to some people. That's what happened to pros. Because like pros right now, pros are in a 417 era. But it's not as drastic. It's not as drastic, I will say. But it's pretty fucking good. I think they do need to do something about it at some point. Like, hatches and zombies are the biggest thing also that corroborate it being that fucking good, right? Like, it can make a bit of vert, it can make a couple angles, like it can break a zombies, which is like,
Yep,
so fucking good, right? And then on top of that, like when you're holding a cut angle, that right now it's like really like good to like fast pace run across the cut angle, because cuts are so important in the game. You just two-shot the dude with the 417. So yeah, we're definitely in a DMR meta, especially with ACOGs only being on DMRs on defense, like besides, the TCSG. So I think definitely some things need to be tweaked around on that eventually, but it's not that bad, at least.
I would like to interject here, and I hope that we get a banner made up.
Mhm.
Kyle called it.
Kyle
Kyle said in the preview for Munich Major, he's like, watch everybody running the 417. Kyle called it.
You know, they're just a ball knower over here.
He's
Come
a
on.
ball knower.
I'm just
He
a ball
knows-
knower over
he-
here. Can we
he
get
knows a lot
music
about
with that
ball.
banner too? Like we could dance maybe.
I would love
That'd be
like a
great.
Kyle called it and then like confetti comes down from the
Yeah,
sky and then there's
exactly.
funky music. Like producer David, if you
Exactly.
can figure that out, we'd appreciate that. Maybe not for this episode, but maybe subsequent episodes because I have a feeling this won't be the only time Kyle is right.
Right, and we'll need it for that M80 episode when I tell them I was right. Anyway, Fett, I got a question for you.
Yeah, you go ahead and give that question.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, you go ahead.
What region makes the best mailboxes?
No, North America.
Who just won the last major?
North America.
And who's gonna thrive most in a DMR meta?
North America.
Are we in a North American? Are we about to enter North American supremacy with this
I don't
DMR
know
meta?
because okay, I don't know because
Oh,
North
okay.
America is
Dang.
also like the
Dang.
play hard spot positions
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a lot of util and a lot of win cons and a lot of
Yeah.
objective play, and
Yeah.
Thatcher kind of fucks all of that. So it's like 50-50. It's like
Dang.
we get DMRs, but then we get Thatcher, which counters North America.
You're ruining this with logic. I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
like
I'm
that.
sorry. No,
Like,
we're the
you're
greatest.
100%
We're the
right. You're
greatest.
100% right. Could we call this the 418?
Use.
Like, is this a 2.0? Is this the 418?
418?
Because we got
Oh
a
my.
416, right? I believe that's a gun. So now we got the 4.
I think that's just like a rifle. No, I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I thought we did. But so that anyway, the 418, the PMR, the Pimmers, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
That thing has 0 recoil and is way too good. And the operators it's on, by the way, are mailbox operators. Thatcher,
Yeah.
Capital, and
Explain
what's it-
mailbox
what's it-
operators to the
and-
not ball
oh,
knowers.
sorry. Mailbox. People that just post up, the post office, right? They post up, they hold their cuts. These are players that don't move. Okay, you guys probably play ranked and you experience these players. This is like Thinking Nade of the SSG. If you guys watched back then, this guy sits upside down on a window rappel or he's outside a breach and he's just sitting there holding a pixel from 300 miles away. NJR is one of these, right? He works
Stompin'.
for the post office. Stompin' technically is one of them as well, right? These guys farm kills. They don't move. They're your cuts players. Someone else runs into the shield or does all the work, and these guys get all they reap the rewards. Anyways, on operators that are like mailbox operators, Thatcher, Capital, Habana, those are great. Habana is so fun to play right now. That might be my favorite
Yeah.
breacher right now with the update. The knock one is insane too. I'm just thinking like taking garage. You couldn't do it before because there was a tube DMR holding you. Now you could just DMR battle in there. Fun. I think what needs to happen though, I think some DMRs need to go. A lot of the operators that have 417s also have unique weapons. Let them be unique weapons. Sense, Twitch, some other operators like that. Like we don't need all these 417s. 2, there's no reason that the attacking DMRs should have 21 plus bullets and the defending DMRs get like 11. Like a Rooney DMR is like 11. Why do we have 21? It's way too good at like ghost pressure, phantom pressure, aka opening up all the barricades without having to reload. It's way too and Azamis, you should be punished. You shouldn't be able to sit there and pop 2 Azamis, 3 Azamis, and they can swing you and you still have bullets. Like you should be punished. But still, like, I mean, keep the mechanic, right? Like, you can still pop Azami barricade or Kibas, but I think you should be punished based on ammo magazine, I think, for DMRs. That's pretty much the only thing I
You want to go back to the days of Blackbeard DMR when you run out of bullets before you're even in the building?
Yes. Blackbeard DMRs. That thing was bad anyway. That thing was awful.
No. I'm kind of
That
seeing
thing
the
was
vision
awful
here.
until Bosco turned an
Until
entire
Bosco,
qualifier into red
Yeah.
paste with it.
That
And
guy was-
then
yeah.
people were like, oh, maybe this is kind of good.
No, I'm okay with that though. Like, what if it's a trade-off? Like, what if it's harder to open barricades with DMRs, but like, and then you know what I mean? Like, what if that's the way to balance it? It's like, okay, DMR serves its purpose. It's a fucking tank of a weapon. It hits like a truck. It can open holes in walls and hatches, but it takes a shit ton of bullets to open barricades. Whereas the automatic weapon, you just and then you open the barricade.
Yeah.
Right, boom. That's you know, it's like I
Yeah.
like trade-offs. I like 6
No, exactly the
sevens,
trade-offs.
you know? Yeah.
That's why I also just don't think we should have 21. Like it's a hard-hitting marksman rifle. Why do I 21 bullets is insane.
21 bullet, bro. Are we for real? Yeah.
Like it needs like 11. Take
They
10
play for
bullets
the
away.
gun. They
I'm
play
with
for
all
the
that.
gun, man.
I would still use it. 11 bullets? That thing's still nasty.
Dude, yeah.
It
just
two
fucking
taps
great.
anybody.
Let's very quickly wrap up the last of these operator changes. Let's talk a little bit about mute, because mute obviously got a bit of a change too. The mute change I think is very interesting. So for people who don't know, basically the way that they've changed mute now is so if you are using a gadget that uses an electrical signal and you are standing in the radius of the mute jammer, but your gadget is not, it still doesn't work. So let's say, for example, you put a thermite charge down on a wall that is not covered by a mute jammer. And then thermite goes to run to a wall and tries to use the thermite charge, but he's standing in a mute jammer, it won't go off. Basically what the mute jammer does now is it disrupts the signal from the point of where you are to the gadget. If the gadget is under a mute jammer and you're not, it won't go off. If you're under the mute jammer and the gadget is not, it still won't go off. Now, the other change to mute is that it no longer stops gadgets that don't need to be activated. So for example, if you're an ace and you throw that Selma, it goes automatically. Mute no longer stops that. It will go off on its own. But for Hibana, you have to activate it. For Thermite, you have to activate it. It's a pretty big change. And then they also tweaked a couple other things where now his radius is bigger because obviously now it captures more, which is going to be interesting, not from a gadget standpoint, but from a drone standpoint. Because you know there are lots of double doors in parts of maps where a single mute jammer has to be awkwardly positioned in order to get full coverage. Now that might not be the case. So this is a big buff to mute from an anti-intel perspective, and also could be seen as a buff from a gadget perspective, but certain gadgets, like example, a secondary hard breach, you don't need to activate it. It just goes off automatically. Mute's not going to stop those anymore. So there's lots of changes with the mute, and I'm very interested to see how this works out. I just want to know your immediate shoot from the hip here. Do you like this? Do you think it makes mute stronger? Is mute weaker? Should it be reverted? Was old mute better? Go off.
It's a nerf.
It's a nerf.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big nerf.
That's it. That's literally it. I think it's just literally just a nerf. Like,
I do like that it's two speed. Bring my boy back.
Yep.
I like the 2-speed. I love that. It's a big nerf though. Like one thing I'm really skeptical on is it did make some of the other operators really strong. And one operator, I'm not going to go through all of them, but one operator that I want to point out is Grim. Grim now has 0 counters except like Vigil. And that's kind of scary. Like mutes were really good for like let's say admin on Consulate. You would just like put some mute jammers in there so you can hold on to the control. They couldn't just bring a Grim and like Grim B you or Deimos track you from below or whatever like that. Like now literally they could just Grim B, and again besides playing Vigil, I don't think there's a counter. Am I missing something?
He's gonna get nerfed. They're gonna take away some Bs, I bet you anything. They're gonna nerf him again because they buffed him so hard because he was so useless, and now he has everything. He's got a bailiff, he's got a secondary hard breach, he's got a great gadget, the commando's a good gun. Like, I know that we went through the like don't nerf operators, but Grim has like no weakness. You have to nerf him somehow. Yeah,
so good.
He's too strong.
Huh? What'd you say? Say?
I said, but he's me.
Oh my god.
Can't nerf me. Come on.
No,
guys.
Grim has everything. No, you said
Yeah.
Grim literally has everything. A bailiff, a good gun, EMPs, heart. I mean, what?
Yeah.
One man army.
Yeah, he's too strong, and it's a situation where I think they're knowing Ubisoft. I fear what they're going to do is they're going to nerf his gadget and they're going to take away his bailiff, and then he's going to be in the dirt, and then it's going to be like you nerfed him too much. Yeah. Here's what I would like. I would like to see incremental changes. So if they think he's too strong, get rid of the bailiff first or touch his gadget first. I'm a big proponent of don't touch the loadout, touch the gadget. Like it really irritates me when an operator is really, really strong and they're like, oh, we're going to nerf the guns. And it's like, that's not always why an operator is strong. Like you should be nerfing the gadget, if anything. Like an operator should be balanced based on their gadgets. In my eyes, I know that's easier said than done. But it's like, if Grim is too strong, either change out his secondary equipment or take away, what does he have? He has 4? Is 4 little B pods? Give him 3.
5, I think.
Does he have 5? Jesus
Yeah, it's
fuck.
fine.
Yeah.
Knock him down to 4. Maybe even knock him down to 3. Who knows?
Nah, 4's
Like,
good. I think
4
3
is
when he was
fine.
dog shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but don't do what they did with like Solus, where they took away like 5 things and made her completely useless. Like, just take away one thing, and if he's still too strong, hit him again in a couple months. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't want him to put him in the dirt. He's a break glass in case of emergency op. He's also really good in ranked. He's up there with like Flores and Capitao as just like, you're not really losing anything by running them in ranked. They basically do everything. Those 3 ops, I feel like even if you don't have wrists, you can climb to a pretty healthy meta if you just play those 3 operators. But yeah, I think you're right about this. I think it is a Mute nerf. Mute is really, really strong. He's got a great loadout. He's another operator that's got basically everything. And a small nerf to Mute doesn't really hurt me. My only interest is in knowing how this is going to affect defenders, because on maps where you see Kaid and Bandit banned,
Yeah.
you see a lot of Mutes have to be run. Now he's going to be weaker. This could potentially really shake up how the defenders design sites and how they either anchor or roam. So it'll be fun to see, and it'll be interesting to see if it actually makes attackers better. Because right now, no map is attacker sided. We used to have like a couple. Now it's like maybe we have a coin flip map, and that's basically it. It would be nice to see attackers actually doing better and not have a busted lion be the reason why.
I think they should give Grim the glass sniper as a primary, like without the scope, and then like
There
that's
we
the
go.
only primary
Alright.
you can run.
All right.
And then these
We're in serious
bounds.
territory now. You
Delete
had a
them
great
or
suggestion
past
with the
midnight.
Deagle revolver one, and now you just go and shit that out.
Type shit.
Anything more about Mute before we move to Castle next?
Nope. He should be able to wear one as a hat.
He should be able to wear a castle with as a hat.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
Mute.
I agree
Oh,
with all
Mute.
that.
Thank
Mute
you.
should be able to put a mute jammer on his back and just be a walking jammer.
Vigil.
No, I agree with all that.
Okay, well, thank you.
Oh. Next. Next.
Castle. Fett actually touched on this during the show match. Castle barricades can now be electrified. I think that's going to be very. I think that's going to be very strong, and I think that's going to be really fucking annoying.
Someone, because I thought someone said that like ash charges can no longer break it, and I was like,
Because
I
you
got
shoot the
confused.
ash charge and the electrification destroys the ash charge.
Well,
Castle
which they
barricades-
added.
has that been a thing? I thought it never. I thought ash charges bypass electrification right now.
So they do for Black Mirrors.
No.
Because but chat told me the lore. I thought the same thing, Fett.
Okay.
I told them all pros thought this too. It's because mirrors aren't conducive to electricity or some shit.
Yeah.
Is that mathin'? I don't know.
Yeah. No,
But
I
yeah,
also,
they added that. Yep.
Also, but just like I think people are just gonna like shoot it next to it anyways, and then nades still work,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Nades still work. Zofia still work. Punching it's gonna be kind of funny because make you that'll be really funny. I think that'll be one of the bigger things. Otherwise, I don't think it'll. Honest to God, like okay, I'm sorry to like people who think this would be crazy. Besides, obviously, breaching charges and okay, wait, actually, it might be pretty cool change. Breaching charges and hard breach charges and like hard breaches like Habanas or aces or not will be fucked by it. So yes, maybe it's a pretty big change. But I think like for ashes, they'll just shoot it next to it on the windowsill. For nades, Zofias, they'll just be on it, which I guess makes Ash and Zofia and nades more powerful. They also need to fix
explosives more popular again because secondary frags will be brought more too. But as we saw at the Munich Major, secondary frags are not exactly the best thing to do with castle barricades.
Yeah, they need to fix that. I don't know why
Yes.
like it's so inconsistent to like nade a castle.
Frankly, I think it's actually quite embarrassing on our esport when you're watching and somebody will literally lob a nade and it will roll right underneath it and then it blows up and the castle barricade's still there. And we as casters have to be like, oh darn, like when it's like, why is this fucking happening? This shouldn't be happening. Like fix it. Like, and we have to play it off so cool. And I'm just like, no universe in which a grenade would not blow that up. What do you guys think
Yeah.
now that the electrification changes happened? What do you think about bringing it back so Glaz can shoot through it?
Shoot through what?
Shoot through the castle
break
barricades.
'em.
Ooh, hell no.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
That immediately says no.
Sure. I just feel like going for the hot take because electrification, I don't think it's going to be good, by the way.
I feel like anything
Like good in what
bullet
way? You think it's going to be
holy-
annoying, or do you think it's going to be bad for castle?
I don't think it's you're never going to see it.
Bro, I just think anything like bullet
I think
holy,
you're
like
absolutely
or
going
like
to see it in gold or below
Oh, okay.
all the fucking time.
You got me there, but you can't bandit it, so it's Cade. What's the number one most banned operator in the entire game in comp and in ranked and whatever? It's Cade.
We've already been through this, dude. They're only banning Kaid if he pops off the round before.
wait,
the moment he can't punch that castle open because he's banned. You're
Wait,
never
you're
gonna see it
saying-
again.
You're saying we're not gonna see people make glass bullet holes.
No,
bro,
no,
no,
I'm
no.
talking about I went back to the actual topic here. Besides Glaz shooting,
He
through
doesn't
a
think
castle
people will be
barricade.
electrifying the.
Oh,
barricades.
yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of agree with that. Unless like you just have like a Cade or Bandit left to spare.
But
I
like
think if you
Cade's
have a-
banned
You can't
every
ba-
time.
You can't bandit it.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't bandit
Wait.
it. There's a hole at the bottom of the castle.
Oh,
Where are you gonna put the bandit?
oh, so it's
battery?
only Cades.
yeah.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a cool new strat on Skyscraper Geisha where you get this middle Geisha panel and then the two
Yeah.
castles next to it.
Maybe if
fuck
it
it.
connects, like you're saying, yeah, if it connects,
Yeah, if it could, yeah, like that's the only time I see it because walls are
Yeah.
infinitely more walls and
Yes.
hatches are infinitely more valuable than anything else.
Yep.
But yeah, no to the glass because I think anything bullet holy or like plain, plain glassy just shouldn't be in the game.
I wasn't taking that serious. I also say no to the glass. By the way.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to see what you guys had to say about it. See if
yeah,
you
I
got
wasn't
pissed
actually
off
taking
about
that.
it.
Fuck all that.
Ace is now a 1 armor or a 1 speed 3 armor.
Good.
So this
Good
look.
change.
What'd you say? You like these changes?
Yes.
Good change.
Ace has been like the dominant hard bridger for way too long.
Now
Right. Okay, and
Havana's
I
way more
agree with
fun.
you guys, but it irks me that they're like, what if we just make him like slower?
No,
Uh-huh.
it's fine.
True.
Bro, making people slower works. You see how they slaughtered Sledge for a bit before Sledge got popular again?
I mean, testing ground, Parker. You want
Dude, it works.
That's,
You can-
you know
you-
what?
make Ace
You're
5
right.
speed? Go for
Like,
it.
dude, the
You're
devs
right.
were right on you remember how everyone was like, oh, well, like gun balancing doesn't work, scope balancing doesn't work, blah 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 doesn't work. Dude, it all works. Literally, all, like speed balancing works, scope balancing works, secondary balancing works, secondary shotgun balancing works, gadget it all works. There's so many tools for the devs. They were right. They're right about everything. I think the only thing they were wrong on was that one time they took away Malusi's T5 and were like, that's gonna fix the operator. It turns out Malusi's T5 was not the problem when she came out. Remember that, bro? When Malusi first came
yeah.
out and you couldn't shoot it when it like you had to break it with the explosive, and they were like,
T5. Are
oh
you talking about the gun?
yeah, and they were like, yeah, we'll take away the Malusi had Legion gun. Remember?
Yep.
Malusi
I
had
remember.
Legion gun.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, we're gonna take away the T5 and that'll fix Malusi and give her the MP5 and then
I do remember. That just
Yeah.
that unlocked something. Holy shit!
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
forgotten
yeah,
about that.
and then shit did not fix Malusi. That motherfucker was still broken.
Well, it's like her gadget's the problem, but let's
Yeah.
change her gun around. Okay.
That was like the
Um,
one time where like balancing around something that wasn't the gadget like ended up backfiring. But other than that, Ubisoft been mostly right about the gadget or non-gadget balancing, in my opinion.
Very quick run through
yeah.
here. Unless Min has something to go through, let's just get through like the last like couple changes here and then wrap the episode because it is quite late.
Yes.
Producer David has a family. I actually don't know if that's true, but I'm assuming he does. Hibana's X Kairos gone down from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. It no longer needs to reload either. They gave her claymores instead of breaches. I don't understand that change. Did Hibana need claymores? Like I don't get it. Anyway,
It
I
goes
like
with
this
the
change for
DMR.
Hibana. What did you say?
It goes with the DMR aesthetic, the sniper.
True.
We're posted out back. We got the claymores.
True. Thermite now has 1 additional exothermic charge. So Thermite now has 3 of them, and he gets the ITA secondary shotgun. That's crazy.
Love
Clubhouse
that.
is going to be insane.
I love
Yeah, it's not
my
fun.
game buffs.
I love how they were like, well, we're going to change Maverick and Hibana. What do we do to Thermite? I don't know. Let's give him another one.
Yeah. And
Let's just give him another one.
And a shotgun.
Maverick no longer obviously has to pause to reload his torch. And now he has frags again. And he also gets the Reaper MK2. Now, am I stupid or chat? Don't answer that. That's not a call to action. Did Maverick have a problem with his guns? Because I feel like both of Maverick's guns are excellent. Why does he need the Reaper MK2? Am I missing something here?
It's
I don't know,
cool.
for funsies, bro.
That's cool. Make Siege fun
Yeah.
again.
I like it, bro. Make the support players feel like
Nah.
they're fucking with it.
Should have been a ZZ.
Which, by the way, I believe got a substantial buff. So another change that flew under the radar was the distance to the front of your screen.
FOV.
So pistols used to be like this. Now pistols are like this. And if the CZ75 is in the same boat, that's a massive buff to that gun.
That's pretty good. I like all that.
We talked about buffing it. We said it's right there. Why do you need another gun? Just buff it. And no.
It's still locked behind the SMG 12.
All right. It's below on the depth chart.
I'm liking it.
It's working its way up.
Yes.
And then to the point that we mentioned about Ashe earlier, to increase counterplay, Ashe will become more vulnerable as her breaching rounds are more susceptible to electrified surfaces. Electrified deployable shields, castle armor panels, and Mira's black mirrors will now pose a greater challenge. So now an electrified black mirror means that the Ashe charge will no longer go through, so Ashe will need somebody to assist her.
I'm not gonna know that.
That's a good change. There's plenty of other people are like, oh, well, how are we going to get rid of them? I mean, if you watch even like pro play, Ashe getting Miras is not even that. Like, there's so many other ways. Half the time, you just walk up with a shield and punch it. You got Twitch. I mean, there's plenty of other ways to deal with Miras. I don't think Ashe needed to. I think it's a good little counter there.
That'll be pretty cool.
Yep.
There's a bunch of dual front statistics that we don't need to talk about. Bleeding rework. When you're down, you don't need to hold the button to slow bleed anymore. It just automatically does it unless you move.
Nice.
I think that's a good change. That's like a why was that not in the game earlier change.
Well, you can't do the funny animation anymore.
Oh, wait. You
Oh
can't
yeah.
move? Oh.
I mean, look, this game went to hell when they took out the Wamai Crip Walk.
I miss Raptor legs.
So, fun fact. I think it was in the show match, Fett. There was a brief moment where we saw Raptor legs for like the tiniest moment. It looked like Blitz's legs went backwards, and I almost squealed.
I would have died.
That was great.
I don't know. I didn't even know if I was like breaking rules by hinting at all the changes in the show match.
Yeah, we
Was
didn't
I?
know whether to comment on Coast.
I have no idea. Like I
You
was
were
like,
guys, look at Thermite. Look at Thermite. I won't say anything, but look at him.
yeah, I was like, look at the number of the gadget. It's there.
Whoa, Hibana has a new gun. Where's that
People,
from?
yeah, people can use
Yep.
the
Yep.
I don't know. Hopefully, I didn't break any rules or make anyone mad.
No, you did a great job, and from what I heard,
Well-
they really enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks. That's good.
We weren't, for anybody watching, by the way, we weren't able to record an episode in Munich. That was the goal. Jake and Guz, who have their own podcast, brought a bunch of stuff to record an episode, but they didn't have time either because of the hours that we were working. And because originally I was only supposed to work Friday, then I ended up working Saturday, then I also ended up working Sunday. Because of that, we didn't have time to film a podcast on site. So maybe for SI, if Fett comes, there'll be an option there. Troy, while eliminated early, was also musing with the idea of staying for the live event, but decided to go to Japan instead. So, whatever.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy. But I mean, providing that I work SI, providing that either of you get flown out to do content for SI, hopefully we can do one there. I'd like to invest in some equipment beforehand so that we can all get it set up and actually record something on site. But for the time being, there was no real time and there was no real logistics available for us that we could make work. We were going to incorporate it a little bit into the show match, but when they added the German TriCaster, we made a conscious decision, or at least I did, to not reference it because that would have been awkward because it would have been two of us and then German caster. So I was going to be 6-on-6 on stage, but it did not manifest. It did not materialize. So, For those that are curious, we should have M80 on next week. I know that we talked about this already, but if you somehow missed it, the idea is to have the whole team on. So it could be a very chaotic episode. It might rival this one in terms of length. And then beyond that, we're just going to keep churning away, but we're going to start having guests on the show. So it'll be the three of us and one guest. And then we'll get to talk to them and hear their stories. If you have any suggestions as to which guests you would like on the show, our very final call to action is now. Post in the comments which guests you would like to see on the show, because we are taking suggestions. I asked Bolo if he would come on the show. He said yes. So he is definitely in there. What is with your hands? Were you going to say Bolo?
No,
or
no,
were
you,
you say...
you finish. Yeah, I want to do a call to action after your call to action.
I said, okay, so this is the last one, second last one. If you have any
Yeah, I was
guests that
thinking
you
one
want
too.
on, yeah, if you have any guests that you want on, any old faces, any new faces, anything like that, drop it in, because we will prioritize the people that you want to see. If you want specific guests on, we will do what we can to try to bring them on. We have to fill out the off season somehow. The NA League finals, the SA League finals, EML finals, all that stuff is coming up. So we're going to be talking about that as well. But it would be nice to be able to bring on faces and hear their stories. And that's how we'll be filling a lot of the time during the off season until we get into it with SI quals and then SI as well. Final call to action then, Fett, and closing words from you guys before we say goodbye to this extra long episode.
Final call to action, pop quiz. There are 5 T2, T1 players that their fucking shit, I'm so tired. Their name ends with a even number in the 90s. The 90s series of players. Can you name them all? First person to do it gets a kiss from Fett next episode. I'll say your name and then I'll kiss my mic. If hopefully you're of age.
Yeah, I think Fett said exactly what I was going to say. So right there.
We have straddled 2 days. This was a much longer episode than we anticipated. We were like, oh yeah, nice quick 2-hour episode. We got a screamer coming up with M80 next week. I talked to Pengu a little bit in the green room and I was like, would you come on 6 on 6 again? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, okay, great, because your episode was our most viewed episode and it was also 5 hours long. And Nick goes, no, it wasn't. And I was like, yeah, dude, it was like 4 hours and 55 minutes. And he's like, what? We can go long when need be. To everybody who made it to the very end, thank you very much. Please thank producer David in the comments. As always, insatiable lust or no insatiable lust. I know this has been a long episode. Some of you have been clamoring for one. Some of you say that you want an hour-long episode. I hate to say this, but it will never be shorter than 2 hours unless it's like an hour 45. That's just not the way we roll. We've got some obligations to hit. So here we are. The Munich Major was great. There was lots to talk about. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We're going to try to keep going with one a week moving forward. I don't see why we would miss one. We will be taking a break around Christmas time. So for people that don't celebrate Christmas or don't know when that is, it'll probably be around like December 10th to maybe the new year. We might go like 2-3 weeks without an episode. It really just depends on our availabilities. We know that people will be traveling. We know that people have other obligations. The last thing we want to do is weigh people down who want to see their families and friends with a podcast that we can always just catch up on in the new year. As much as this is a business and this is a job, we are all still human beings with real lives. And sometimes it is nice to prioritize the people around us and traditions like Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate around that time, whatever holidays there might be, or if you celebrate nothing, just celebrating time with friends. So on behalf of our sponsors, Into the AM, Mint Mobile, and Raycon, on behalf of Last Free Nation, and on behalf of Fett, Mint, and myself, and last but not least, producer David, thank you very much for watching this episode. We'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Have a great night.